Welcome back to Invisalign Arena. Chris Lehman with you alongside Nick Perazzi. We're going to take a look now at NC State a little bit more in depth. And we mentioned a lot of new names. There are 8 of them in the lineup tonight, although 2 of them are goaltenders in Ethan Roberts and Peter Bartels that we aren't expecting to see tonight. Isaac Toyer will get the start, but 6 new skaters is a lot.
It is a lot, and last year NC State had a lot of turnover too. But we talked to Coach Healy, before warm-ups when everyone was getting in, and he said we had a lot of turnover because we're D1 now. A couple of guys on this team for NC State come from NCAA programs, so they bring that experience, that mindset, and that skill set to the program as well. A couple of guys that Tim Healy kind of pointed out for us. We got guys like Connie, very quick. He's going to be on that line with Holden Kaufman. Look for Ammons as well. He's going to be centered by Kaufman as well. So that line's going to be very, very quick. The speed and physicality here in D1 are going to be a huge difference, and you're going to see it a lot with those new guys, Chris.
Yeah, you mentioned John Connie. Coach compared him to the most recent captain before Zach Herman and Garrett Arini, and I think that's high praise for a new guy coming in. NC State also going to be missing a guy who's been a pretty key piece on the top end, and that is Nick Shook, who is studying abroad this semester, but I think Coach Healy feels like he's got the horses to fill that gap.
Yeah, he definitely feels like he does have an ability to fill in for Shook. That top line, of course, still going to be there for NC State. As you see, Amir Orakan leading the team out of the tunnel.
Yeah, and they're just about set to take the ice here at Invisalign. We'll step aside. We got starting lineups, puck drop, and Perazzi points coming up.
It's just like, oh.
Welcome. Ice Pack taking the ice here at Invisalign Arena as we are minutes away from the start of this season for the NC State Ice Pack hosting the Georgia Ice Dogs. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi with you. And Nick, we're going to take a little bit more of a look at the NC State opponent tonight in Georgia. like NC State, a lot of turnover on that roster.
Yeah, a lot of turnover, but unfortunately for Georgia, some illnesses going around in that locker room right now. Top defenseman for the Georgia Ice Dogs, Owen Larson, is going to be out for tonight's game, Chris. A huge loss. We talked to their head coach, John Camp, before the game. He said that Larson's one of their best players. He could do it all as a demon, and that's a huge loss for them. Ice Dogs go to Chapel Hill tomorrow as well, and they don't have a lot of legs, Chris. So if you're NC State, try to make them run up and down the ice a little bit tonight.
Yeah, and you look at their top line. This is a team that head coach Tim Healy for the Ice Pack said feels like that they can take advantage depth-wise tonight. But that top line, and Parente, Conway, and Bailey, the seniors and the leaders on this Georgia team, are going to be important to keep an eye on.
They definitely are, and I think you really got to look out for Declan Conway tonight, Chris. He led the team in scoring this past season for Georgia. Centering those two other seniors. Now, senior line against senior line, that's what it's going to be. NC State senior line, Georgia senior line.
Well, and in net tonight for the Ice Dogs is going to be Isaac Hagen. He and his triplet brother, I should say, Truman, have a sister who's on the Georgia volleyball team, and he's going to be in the net tonight, Isaac Hagen.
And they are, all three of them are tall from what we heard from head coach John Camp as the Ice Dogs take the ice. You can hear some boos behind us. It's going to be an interesting matchup at night today, Chris. Hagen's got the height, but does NC State have the ability to get low on him?
Well, we're just about set for the national anthem, so we'll step aside as they finish things up here at Invisalign. We'll be back with Puck Drop next.
It's a full house here in Mooresville, North Carolina, as we're set for the season opener between the NC State Ice Pack and the Georgia Ice Dogs. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineups for the visitors. The top line of Evan Parente, Ryan Bailey, and Declan Conway going to be out there. Truman Hagen and Bill Martin are the defensive pairing, and Isaac Hagen, as we mentioned earlier, will be between the pipes for the Ice Dogs. On the other side, NC State going with Reese Johnson and Daniel Prasma, centered by Zach Herman, with Andrew Thronson paired up alongside Nick Labrizzi on the back end and Isaac Toyer in the net. We're ready for our Perazzi points, so I'll throw it over to my partner Nick. What are our Perazzi points?
Well, Chris, the theme for tonight's Perazzi points, we're bringing them back, folks, first off. Bringing the themes back. I interned in New York City this past summer. Want to shout out the fellow interns, Megan Sweeney, Lauren Bryant, and Sadie Morris. They didn't want me to shout them out, but too bad, you know? That's what happens sometimes. So our Perazzi points tonight. First one, stand clear of the closing doors, please. Bing bong, big hits is what it's going to be. It's a new level of hockey for NC State. Georgia up to the challenge. Look for some physicality. City that never sleeps. First game of the year, both coaches said it. Establish your game and keep it going. And third, Central Park, win the slot.
Herman centering up now against Conway for the opening draw. NC State controls were underway, but the first game of the season, NC State as a Division I opponent in ACHA. Johnson dangling around a man, can't control the puck. It'll be swatted around to the blue line. Labrizzi unable to hold his own. He'll retreat under some pressure though. Hand it off for Johnson. They'll lay it back to Thronson. NC State in their black home uniforms moving right to left. Georgia in the cream uniforms moving left to right in this first period. Thrown deep by Georgia. NC State sends it right back out. It'll be swatted back in again by Evan Parente. Parente, the captain of this Ice Dogs team. Puck skittering down into the Georgia end. It'll be chased down by Hagen. He's pinned to the wall by Zach Herman. Herman looking for help in front, has it stolen away. Back the other way now. It's the Ice Dogs. There's Conway down the left wing, looks across. Opening shot stopped by Toyer. Shake of the head, trying to make sure his helmet is okay. It looks like it might be dislodged a bit based on where that shot hit. And now he's going to duck it off, and that will stop play. You can tell immediately he kind of shook his head around and reached back. I think one of those straps came loose. And so we'll stop play here a little over a minute in.
Yeah, I was going to interject, Chris. Toyer should just try to lift it off, stop play right away.
I don't think he can deliberately lift it off, but he can make it fall off.
I think he was trying to do that with the shaking head, like you said, and he's got it all strapped up now. First shot of the season, right to the noggin. That'll wake you up.
Offensive zone draw, won by the Ice Pack. Thronson will throw it up the boards, but not out. Back down below the goal line. Rung around the wall. It'll be played forward by Austin Finch. Finch out there with Gifford and Govea. We mentioned Govea with shoulder surgery, missed most of the season. He and Labrizzi both missed large chunks due to labrum surgery. But this line of Finch, Govea, and Gifford was really strong early in the season before that injury. Lifted out by Georgia. It'll trickle down in the NC State end. Chased down by Jake Lapani. Lapani under some pressure. Oh, a chance here in front, alone. And the one-timer directed wide by Toyer. Great chance there off the stick of Jordan Sirota. NC State carries it back out, trying to hold the zone unsuccessfully as Lapani. NC State, though, checks up. Real quick pace to this game early. Kaufman butt hooks at the hashes and then throws it back to Darlene, whose shot is swallowed up by Hagen. And we'll get an offensive zone draw for the Pack.
I really like what NC State just did right there. It's a really simple play. You get Jack Ammons right in front, try to get a deflection from Rasmus Darlene's shot. It's just something quick. If you don't get the deflection, it's going to be on goal and more than likely going to cause a face-off like we just seen.
So Connie out there with Kaufman and Hammond, shot from the blue line, whistles wide from Sodden. Around the wall, pinching in, Mason Payne holds the line. He finds Ammons, trying to step to the middle, puck gets tangled up in some feet, Ammons has it back. High slot, loses it right onto the stick of Payne. He'll chip and chase down into the corner. Below the goal line, the one-time chance goes through the legs of Kaufman, thrown back towards the net. Ricochets wide, Sodden with that shot. Good pressure here from NC State. Kaufman chasing it down below the goal line. Warmath works it up the wall, but not out. Ammons at the blue line, wrists it back in. Kaufman now will chase it down. Good zone pressure here from NC State. hit along the wall, but Ice Dogs able to clear it to the other side and away. Hunsenberger lifts it in. Georgia needs a change.
And Georgia needed to get that puck out, Chris. They were on their heels for about a minute plus, but they get a great opportunity to clear the puck. Good forecheck here from the Ice Dogs right now. Wins in the puck back in the neutral zone.
We'll get a whistle. Face-off will come back to the neutral zone. NC State strong in the face-off circle here in the first 3 minutes plus. This will be the 4th face-off of the game. They've won the first 3.
If you're NC State, that's something that you want to establish, because towards the end of last season, Chris, they lost a lot of crucial face-offs. And I think, early in the season, if you see them winning a lot like so far tonight, it's a good sign further along that these centers are being able to win these draws and get the ice puck positioning as well as possession. Looks like someone jumped.
There's an immediate whistle there from the official on the far side. NC State will have to shuffle things up. Talon Langston out of the face-off. Keegan Gilmore will face off against Jake. This will be the first face-off controlled by the Ice Dogs, pardon me. It'll be sent deep by Hagen. Pressure here from Georgia. By the NC State net, Labreezy. Lays it up the wall. Langston looking for an outlet pass. He has it at the blue line. Has to retreat for some space. Talon Langston. Makes another stick check. Working with it at the defense now. Bronson. Cross ice looking for Johnson. It's on and off his stick, and Georgia sends it back deep. Nobody with any real threatening chances so far, as Hagen gains the blue line and just shovels it in. Some good pace to this game so far.
Yeah, definitely. And Georgia, when you look at their stats from last season, they're going to win the puck back here. They play a very, very disciplined game, and their head coach even said that they love them to get creative as Herman's shot gets blocked.
Transition chance goes awry there for the Pack. Lifted out by Georgia. Lapani tracks it down for NC State. Rasma at the blue line, carrying it down that right wing, knocked down, but he's able to find an open teammate. Oh, and Herman didn't miss by much. Darlene pitching in, finds Herman again. Backhanded up to Darlene, played it back out now for Johnson. Across Lapani from the wall, throws it wide. This one around the boards now, and that will give a little reprieve to the Georgia Ice Dogs.
And they need it. I mean, look, if next time that first line's out there for NC State, it looks like they're going to keep them out. They establish offensively the way Prasma and Herman move around off the puck when they don't have it. As you can see, they're going to bring it back in the zone. When they're off the puck, Chris, they are flying around, keeping Georgia on their toes.
Well, here's some space to move for Parente down the left wing. Cuts to the middle. His centering pass is shut down by the NC State defense. Well played by Darlene from Ryan Bailey. Now D-to-D pass, sliding in. Pressure from Gifford forces the puck out of the zone. Tyler Stewart retreats for it. Played forward now for Bailey. No chip in deep. NC State tracks it down. Darlene. A little bit of pressure there from Zach Noll. Georgia looking to establish themselves in the offensive zone. NC State had that one really good possession with the Kaufman line. They've been shut down since then. Here goes Govea. He has Finch with him. Shot from Govea. Elevated too high off the glass. Payne holds it in at the blue line. Finds Kaufman down the wall. They'll sweep it deep. Nobody down low except for Govea. Has it hop his stick. Back out up top. Moving in. And Kyler Sutton throws it wide. Now Payne pushes it back deep. NC State getting the forecheck going. Here's Finch looking out in front. Just missed Govea. Now another chance for Payne is blocked. And it'll be picked up by Sutton in the neutral zone. He's able to find Payne. Carries it straight in. Throws it into the glove of Hagen. Knocks it down and covers up for a face-off here in the Georgia zone.
Man, Chris, I think NC State right now just has that little extra step, if you will. The Ice Dogs didn't get to Raleigh until about 5 o'clock tonight. Citing some Charlotte traffic on the way, and that's what head coach Don Camp said to us pregame.
There's always traffic.
There's always traffic when you take 85 or 77 around there. But NC State's got that little edge. They've got more juice, and you can definitely tell them when they're in the offensive zone, they just skate to the puck a lot faster, and they seem to have Georgia just back on their heels. Can the Ice Dogs get out of their zone and maintain possession?
Able to break out, but they can't control it through the neutral zone. NC State steers it back into the dog end. Sirota. Pass stolen away by Kaufman. This pass up the wall, though, taken right back. Knocked loose. Both teams struggling to control neutral ice. It's caught up in skates. Knocked loose to the far wall. First one there is Ponsenberger for Georgia. Into the near corner. Up now by NC State's Jack Hammonds. Out for Kaufman. Connie moving up with him. Hammonds to the loose puck. Gets a stick to it, but he can't control. Loose in the high slot in the Georgia end, and the Ice Dogs carry it out. Hagen moves to the center for Sirota. He'll step in and miss a shot wide. Hagen slaps one from the far wall. That one doesn't get through. Below the goal line again, they'll battle to the far left corner. A little over 7 minutes gone. Shots 4-3 in favor of NC State. Scoreless, though, here at Invisalign Arena so far. Pressure here from Georgia. They'll offer a change. Let's get NC State time and space to clear. Chipped in just past the red line by Brandon Raleigh to avoid icing. Now Georgia sends it back the other way. Icing's going to be waved off there as well. Retreating for it, Kyler Sun. Space up the middle of his own end. He'll carry it out. Leaves to the near left wing. Lays it down into the zone. Ryan Miller first there for Georgia. All the way around the wall, he's got McAvoy. Centering pass on the clearance is directed back by Sutton. Sent back in by Miller of the Ice Dogs. Steered for Sun. Trying to turn out of pressure. Has some help from Talon Langston. Back for Sodden. He's got Gilmore up the near wall. Touch pass back from Raleigh. Gilmore moving in down the left wing. Bodied up and thrown to the ice. Heavy hit there and well defended by Declan Conway. Centering pass. Gilmore in the slot. Turnaround shot line. And now Johnson chases it down to the corner. He'll slap it back behind the goal. Gilmore putting some pressure on. Good hustle there by Georgia's Graham Baird to poke it loose, but they still can't clear. NC State with pressure. Herman walking in, has it poked away by Miller. And this time Georgia will elevate it up and out. And get some fresh legs out there.
Dangerous looking chances there for NC State, but Georgia well defended. Great plays from Declan Conway, and earlier Hagen with a fantastic play.
Brunson unable to hold the zone. Herman going to chase it down in his own end. A little bit of pressure there from Parente. He'll leave it. Breezy can take it back behind the goal to set up the breakout. A diving play there by Herman, and he can't get a touch to the puck, trying to get rid of the icing call. NC State has to head back down to the other end.
This is Zach Herman's 100th game in an Ice Pack uniform, and I don't think he's ever done that in a game before. Diving head first to prevent an icing, but if you're Georgia, this is a great opportunity here. Haven't been able to sustain more than 30 seconds of ozone time. You can win the draw and get it set up. You've got some good looks already off Isaac Toyer.
NC State initially controlled the face-off and a save through traffic by Toyer. The puck ended up on a Georgia stick back at the blue line. Breezy gets pinned to the wall, gets it to the near corner, worked up for Prasma, who pokes it out. Georgia able to control at the red line. Swung rink wide for Watson. He'll shoot it deep. NC State gets back to it. They'll try and break out once again. Prasma now cuts to the middle where he has some space. Knocked off his stick from behind. Georgia great on the forecheck right now. Pass to the middle, stolen by Labreezy. He'll lift it off the glass. Prasma will negate the icing call. He wins the race to the puck, and he's got it in the corner. Spins out of some pressure, takes the shot, and Hagen comes off his line to make that save. And another face-off in the Georgia end.
That's a very long shift for Prasma because of the icing, but it seemed like it didn't phase him at all. One of the fastest players for the Ice Pack, racing down the ice to beat the icing, and then a couple little Deeks and Daniels to rip a great shot off Hagen. But so far, Chris, I think Isaac Hagen's done a great job so far in net.
NC State wins the offensive zone draw. Lapani throws it down low. It hops the stick there of Aiden Rady. NC State still able to work it back deep again. Near side, Bill Martin. Back down low. Swept around the wall. Hunzenberger trying to clear for Georgian Camp. Lapani's shot deflected up and out of play by Rady. Another face-off here in front of Isaac Hagen.
One thing that's pretty prevalent right now to me, Chris, is there's a lot of rust out there, especially with those passes in the D zone. And I think if someone decides to be a little more aggressive in that forecheck, they can really have a great opportunity, them and just a goaltender alone. They're going to actually move this back out to center ice.
Face off on top of the Georgia blue line. Govea centering Gifford and Rady. Gifford forced backward, but he's able to get it to Dahlin. Shovels it off the glass and in. So NC State, by my count, unofficially 5 of 7 on faceoffs. Georgia clears it all the way down. Dahlin can't get to the puck before it reaches the goal line, so that's icing. Another ozone draw for the Pack.
Looks like NC State's going to keep those same 5 out there. Govea, Gifford, as well as Rady.
It should be pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Coming off of that last shift from the Herman, Krasma, and Johnson line. Face-off one to Gifford. His shot off a body and one. NC State winning the face-off battle 6-2 now by my count. Georgia will break it out now, gaining the red line and dumping it deep. As Charlie Kerrigan go to work below the goal line. Battle one there in the corner by the Ice Dogs. Centering pass though, intercepted by Dahlin. Gifford's breakout pass knocked away by Sirota. He looks to the middle from that right corner. Stolen away again by Dahlin. His clearance right out in front. Kerrigan denied by Toyer. Isaac Toyer has had a couple of tough saves to make. One through traffic, that one a little unexpected, point blank. He's been up to the task.
And that's what I was talking about, Chris, getting a little more aggressive on that forecheck with all that rust out there, and it was a great opportunity for Charlie Kerrigan. I think that was the best opportunity either team has had so far in this game.
Side moves it forward. A little pressure there on Mason Payne, who's able to gain the blue line. Not really any further. Brandon Ing cuts to the middle. Able to gain the blue line and shoot it around. Mason Payne going to the body there on Wyatt McAvoy, who wins the battle. NC State able to get to a loose puck though and clear. Georgia controlling play right now. They're not giving NC State a whole lot once they get out into neutral ice. Sodded back to Payne. 8 minutes left in this first period. Shots are 6-5 Georgia. Still scoreless though here at Invisalign Arena. Season opener for both of these teams. This is the only game of the weekend for NC State. They'll be back at it with a home-and-home series against Liberty next weekend. Of course, Georgia heading over to play the Tar Heels tomorrow in Hillsborough. Part of a 2-game weekend here in North Carolina. Hammonds forward on the left wing. Looks across. Kaufman shot blocked. Down to 1D. Graham Baird makes the play for the Ice Dogs. Kaufman again in control. They'll walk it down below the goal line. Turning with it. Loses it right to Hammonds. Behind the goal, he's knocked off the puck. And it'll be collected and cleared by Jake Green for the Ice Dogs.
There was that line for NC State centered by Kaufman. We mentioned it earlier in the pregame show. That's a line with a lot of speed, and I really like that drop pass to Kaufman. You know, you got a 3-on-2, give it to the guy on the far wing, let him take a shot. Of course, Hagen to go across the full way, but he's able to stay tall and make a great save.
At the blue line, they battle for it. State holds the zone for a moment, but it'll be shot out. Toyer has to come out and play it, so there is no icing. Backhands it around for Thronson. Played off the wall and out. Georgia takes back control. That's Warmath. We'll go D to D for Tyler Stewart. Back across to Warmath. They'll carry it through the middle. Right down Broadway. Warmath drops it off. Shot coming. Save made by Toyer. Georgia still in control. Worked across Parente. Going in front. Toyer makes the save. Rebound loose and a big block by Labrizzi on the side of the goal. Georgia in control. Warmath looking to the high slot and hops the stick of Parente, but Stewart gets to it, walking the goal line. Into the middle, he's able to find Bailey, and it's cleared out. As NC State gets some pressure on, no icing though. So it was off the Georgia stick. Johnson down the forecheck, Herman in to help. They'll force it around to that far corner. That's what plays the body. Georgia clears though. Moved forward by Knoll. Around the wall, Johnson first to it. Touch pass stolen away. Back into the middle. Knowles' pass hits a body. Lapani, who knocked it down, collects it, finds Krasma at the blue line. They'll skate it down the right wing. Chip to the middle, but NC State is offsides. And that will stop play with 5:33 to go in the period.
First stoppage in a while, Chris, but if you're NC State and you go back in the film room, you know, probably on Monday,
rewatching this game, you're going to look at that last defensive trip that they had, that last Georgia attack, and you're not going to be happy with yourself because there were about 4 or 5 ice-back players right in front of Isaac Toyer. Georgia freely able to just move the puck point to point and even go on to some of the wings as well, and generated a great couple of chances for Georgia and required a Nick Labrizzi block to keep this game scoreless.
Krasma swats it around to the near side. There's Herman, who plays it off the glass and out. Getting to it, Johnson. He's going to try and step around the defense, but he's taken down cleanly by Truman Hagen. And to help out his brother in goal and prevents a breakaway there. Lapani gets to the clearance first. Slaps it up the wall, chipped along by Herman. Going to be chased down now by Ryan Miller of Georgia. Bouncing puck, hops his stick. NC State to it. Pinned to the wall, though, there. And NC State and Georgia tied up behind the net. This is going to be a Georgia penalty, and it will go against Ryan Miller. He pinned Herman to the wall. We'll get a look at it here.
The puck's gone.
You can see Herman's kind of got his elbow hooked there to pin him to the wall. They were both tangled up. But he does a good job, does the captain for NC State, of drawing that penalty. Should be I believe, a holding penalty on the Ice Dogs here.
Yeah, and Herman had to sell it a little bit too, but it was well after the play, after the puck had gone. Finch had cleared it to the other side of the net. And this is a Georgia team that's normally pretty disciplined. I think that one there, they were a little bit tangled up. You could have let it go, but I think the way Herman had his hands up, he was kind of selling it a little bit like he needed to get the call. They do give him that call, and the first power play for NC State. A lot of lefties on this roster. It's interesting to see what they come out here.
Govea, Johnson, Krasma, Thronson, Herman. The power play unit out there for NC State. Be cleared out though by the by the Ice Dogs, pardon me. As Baird lifts it up and out. Ooh, Toyer out to play it. That was a little bit risky, and Georgia continuing to put some pressure on, even down a man. Baird trying to step up at the red line. Too many black jerseys though. Krasma dragging to the middle. It comes off his stick, cleared off the glass. And the second effort from Baird clears it all the way down.
Man, Declan Conway had an open net. He just did not have the correct angle on it. Easily won that race to the puck. There was no one else could have contend. Toyer had to come out. He actually blocked it, something you always try to do that you rarely get. But Conway did it.
Here's Govea looking through traffic. A good glove save by Hagen. Oh, and now we've got some extracurriculars behind the Georgia net. You get a look here, though, at the replay of Toyer coming out. Oh, man, did he get lucky.
Conway slowed. If Conway's able to slow down, I don't think he is just because of the nature of that play. It's 1-0 Georgia, but on the other end, a juicy shot for Govea. Had a great portion of the glove side of Hagen open, but Hagen, some great reactions to get that glove up there and make a great save. Nothing out of the skirmish after the play. Everyone back to the benches.
3:57 left here in the first period. 1:10 left on the penalty to Ryan Miller. NC State with the man advantage, trying to break a scoreless tie right now. Kaufman on the draw. He's got Rady, Labrizzi, as well as Darlene and Gifford out there. They score! Gifford strikes on the power play, and NC State's got the lead.
Well, it was touch and go for a while there for NC State. They weren't able to get offensive zone time, but the penalty will do that. They go point to point, and it's going to be Gifford on the left side with a lot of traffic in front. Great screen from Rasmus Dahlin right in front. A little late. Truman Hagen getting there to kind of knock him out of the way. And the first goal of the season belongs to Daniel Gifford, a candidate to really break out into a star here at NC State. Had a lot of potential last year until Govea went down, but he still showed it true and true. One more look at the goal. Great little pass, getting the assist there from Labrizzi in his first game back from injury.
So I believe it will be a power play goal for Gifford from Labrizzi and Dahlin. A 1-0 lead for NC State. Georgia right back to work on the forecheck. Pass slides under the stick of Truman Hagen and out of the zone. That'll alleviate a little bit of pressure for NC State. Got right back in though by Bill Martin. Behind the net, Sun can't clear. Bouncing puck loose in the slot. NC State gets a stick to it again. It's Sun. This time he's able to get it out into neutral ice. Hammonds with it for the Pack. He'll break it into the zone on his own. Knocked off the puck, trying to get back to it. Punzenberger prevents that. He'll break it out himself. Stolen away now by Kyler Sugg, who shoots it in. Georgia needs to get a few fresh bodies out there. NC State doing the same. Punzenberger looking to stretch things out to Parente. Stretches it out too much, and it'll be icing on the Ice Dogs.
That's the last thing you want if you're Georgia. A penalty kill that doesn't go your way, you give up a goal, and now, after a pretty decently long shift, you got to go back to the other end and play defense again. NC State going on with that top line led by Herman.
So another offensive zone face-off for NC State. They have dominated the face-off circle here this period. A little confusion about who should be out there for the Ice Dogs.
Ryan Miller.
They've only got 4 out there right now.
Taking someone off, and now there's still confusion.
And if you're Georgia here,
gotta be careful you don't get delay a game.
You're also okay with milking it a little bit. Try and get some extra rest for the tired guys out there.
They got their 5 though, so they should be all good. They just got to position themselves. Now it's that first game. This stuff happens very early in the season, and especially the way Georgia is with a lot of players not here due to illness.
Dogs win the draw but can't clear. Dahlin off the wall, throws it to the net. Glove save, and it's held on to by Hagen. And again, some pushing and shoving back behind the goaltender. Actually in the net almost. That's Graham Baird and it's actually Evan Parente in there. And Graham Baird. But that was kind of one of those pushed him in there kind of deals, it looked like to me. But they're very defensive of their goaltender right around the crease.
Yeah, and Reese Johnson went back and got Isaac Hagen's brother, Truman Hagen. He's obviously going to protect his crippled brother. There's no way around it. He went back in to get it, but I really like that shot opportunity from NC State. Dahlin with a quick rip, Herman coming straight across. I think as the season goes on, that look from Dahlin and Herman will more than likely produce some goals later on this season. It's a great look, but early on, maybe a little more sauce from Dahlin's shot. Maybe Herman gets there a little quicker. The timing was a little bit off on that one.
Talon Langston to take the draw. Keegan Gilmore offset behind him for the play off the draw. Unable to set it up though, and Georgia clears. Parente chasing it down. He'll force icing to be waved off. Lapani tied up there by Parente. NC State brings some help in. Up the middle for Gilmore. He's got space now down the left wing. NC State moving in. Gilmore button hooks in the corner, looks back up the wall for Langston. Swept across for Lapani. He'll throw it towards the net, deflected just wide by Gilmore, who gets back to it in that far corner. He'll try to work his way out in front. Bodied up though by Conway. NC State will go back to work at the blue line, wristed through traffic by
Got some action on the left side. Gilmore is going at it. He is furious, taking down Graham Baird. I assume he's going to be on Gilmore. He pushed him down from the back of his head, it looked like, for a good bit there. Just after the play, something happened, Chris. I saw them shoving, and Gilmore led the way. We're going to get a great look on the replay right on your right side. Gilmore just with a couple of big shoves. He's going to go to the box for it for sure. Question is how long. They actually might take Baird. They are going to take Baird here.
It'll be Rady for NC State. As you mentioned, Baird for Georgia.
We got Rady and Gilmore a little mixed up there. It's still early in the season for us too, Chris. It's going to be matching minors. We'll see if it's going to stay 4-on-4, I believe.
Should be, I would imagine, roughing is the
Reese
call
is going to come out. Looks like it's going to be 4-on-4 hockey. Georgia's got 5 out there.
This will make for a fun last minute 49 of the period. Extra space for these guys. Prasma and Johnson, the forwards for NC State, with Labrizi and Thronson on the back end. For Georgia, they've got Bill Martin and Truman Hagen out there as the defensive pairing. Evan Parente and Ryan Bailey, the forwards.
And we've seen Parente's speed already. If you're Georgia and you get some open ice, find him.
Speaking of speed, here goes Daniel Prasma. Thronson up the middle with him. Shot off the stick of Hagen and directed into the near corner. Tracked down by Prasma. Working behind the net, has it knocked away by Hagen. Thronson there to take it back. Hagen, though, steals it away again, and Parente comes away with it for the Ice Dogs.
Now Franzen going in pretty deep for a D-man. Really good job, though, from Reese Johnson to fill his position offensively.
Here's Bailey dragging around the defenseman, and a save made by Toyer, who squeezes it with the blocker arm and stops the clock with 1:06 to go in the period.
That's one of those saves. If you're Isaac Toyer, you squeeze it, and you've got that moment of, did I get all of it, or did that 1% get by me? Really good look for Bailey, but Toyer kept it in front, went down and closed the butterfly just in time for the good save. He's got now 9 saves in the first 19 minutes of this game.
Georgia tried to win it forward there, almost worked. They'll stay in control. They've started to do a better job off the face-off here later in the period, but the numbers, at least by my count, still heavily favoring NC State. Only a 1-0 score. Mason Payne chips it in from the blue line. He'll go after it. First one there for Georgia is Bill Martin. Work back around for Hagen. Breakout pass, misses its mark. NC State back into the zone. Payne looking to the middle. Connie can't get to it. Herman can. He'll sweep it deep. Connie knocked into the wall behind the goal. Georgia takes over. 30 seconds left in the period. Skated out by Hagen. Looking to the middle, on and off the stick there of Evan Moore. As Tate Sodden gets to it in the corner. Under some pressure, he'll play it back behind for Connie. He'll look for some help. Back behind the goal again. Sodden looking to stretch it out. Herman's there. Couldn't find the passing lane, though, to be played forward. Hagen moves back the other way. Now 7 seconds left. Steps around Gifford. Hagen moving into the zone. Takes the shot. Pad save made by Toyer. And the clock will run out on period number 1. So the difference, a power play goal for NC State at the moment, scored by Jake Gifford.
Yeah, 1-0 NC State at the end of the first. But you're right, Chris. Jake Gifford, we mentioned in the pregame, someone you got to look out for, especially now that he's paired back with Govea. It was electric to start last season. It's already electric to start season on this power play. We're still going to have a little bit of 4-on-4 time here. NC State, you got some things to work on. If you're Georgia, you're down on the scoreboard, but you got a lot of things to hang your hat on.
So NC State will look to ride that momentum from that late power play goal that came with under 4 minutes to go in the period into the second. But the first period of the season goes pretty well. 1-0 Ice Peck as we head to the first break.
the first intermission in NC State capitalizes on their first power play of the season. It's Jake Gifford who makes it 1-0.
Yeah, it is, and it's on that power play like you mentioned, a bit of a holding call against the Ice Dogs. Zach Herman, kind of had to sell it a little bit, throwing the hands up, but, it gets you the call sometimes. And it was a really good puck work from NC State. Early in these seasons, those special teams lines, they're going to move around a lot, especially with the 4-on-4 we're seeing right now.
Yep.
We're seeing Herman out there with Bronson, Labreezy, and a couple other guys that aren't on any of those lines. They're looking for speed out there. But as you said, Chris, the power play goal for Gifford is off to a hot start already this year, just like last year.
Well, I do think the biggest issue we saw from both teams, and you kind of talked about shaking the rust off a little bit, I think partially as we talked about in the pregame, both of these teams with a lot of new faces in the lineup here in the first game of the season. Breaking out of the zone was a bit of a struggle on both sides, it seemed like.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of it's just, you take the puck. No, you take the puck. I take the puck. No, you take the puck. It's a lot of confusion when you get the puck on your stick. A lot of guys with their head down looking at the puck versus looking up, looking for a visionary and a passing lane to go to. And as the season goes on, that will go away, but you don't want to do that in the first game. Of course, there's many reasons not to, but I said it earlier, Georgia executed it well, being a little more aggressive on that forecheck because of it. I'd be very interested to see if any other team, ups that up in the second period.
Yeah, well, as we talked about the breakouts kind of lacking a little bit, one thing that wasn't lacking in this first period was pace. I thought both teams played with a lot of speed. They played quickly, and it led to a few miscues and a few chances on both sides.
Yeah, and there are some fast players out there. We saw Declan for Georgia flying down the ice, had a great opportunity, even had an open net, just was a little too fast, if you will, with that open net after it deflected off of him when Toyer tried to clear it. But for NC State as well, Prasma, Andrew Bronson out there to the D-men, flying down the ice on a 4-on-4 opportunity as well. The speed is there. This is a new league for both teams. A lot more speed, a lot more physicality, and we've seen it so far in the first 20.
You look at the scoreboard, 1-0 NC State. Shot totals square at 10 apiece and shots on goal. It's an even game. It does feel to me like even though NC State leads, Georgia has carried a little bit more of the play.
Yeah, and at first NC State had the fresher legs. It had the energy boost, if you will. But it kind of teetered a little bit towards the middle. The power play got NC State back, but Georgia's really held their own in the NC State zone now. They're establishing some movement, and I said it earlier during the period, NC State defensively, positioning-wise, way too many people inside. Georgia's being able to freely move it around, get some open looks, get some open slots, and if you're NC State, looking into the second period, finding those defensive positioning battles, getting to their places, I think is going to be key.
Absolutely. Well, we mentioned Jake Gifford with the goal for NC State. He'll be joining us here after this break.
It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's phishing.
Let's report it. Install updates, make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our
more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. These programs cover doctor's appointments, hospital visits, prescriptions, shots, and more. As parents, we get peace of mind knowing that our children are covered if they are sick or get injured. You may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if you've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Nick Perazzi back here in Invisalign Arena with period one goal scorer Daniel Gifford. Daniel, kind of walk us through that power play goal, how it happened, and how you put it in the back of the net.
I mean, we won the draw, got it up, got it out, and right over, and I saw it lane, so I shot it.
Well, we talked a little bit off air about your thoughts on the first period. You said it's hot in year one.
Yes, it's very hot.
But two, what do you think you guys can improve on from that first period going into the second period?
I think we just got to get pucks in, go get it. You know, use our forecheck, use what we got, do what we've been practicing, and just keep working.
Pretty good crowd behind you. Amir Khan leading you out.
Yes.
How does it feel now, especially now jumping to that D1 level, getting some big recognition as well?
It's cool, yeah. He came into the lineup, and then we walked out in front of him, so we're behind him. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, of course. And one thing me and Chris have said on the broadcast, you know, your line mate earlier last year, Joey Govea, suffered an injury. He's back with you this year. How big is it to have him back? Because when you two were together at the beginning of last year, it was electric.
Yeah, we played summer league all summer, so it's good. It's good to have him around, and I mean, keep passing, playing hard, so we're doing well.
Well, we'll keep you posted, of course, for any future updates. Into the second period, we wish you good luck. When we come back, me and Chris are going to break down what each team needs to work on headed into the second period.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. Have a great
We're closing in on the start of the second period here at Invisalign Arena. Chris Lehman back with Nick Perazzi here at the first intermission, and it's a 1-0 lead for NC State. Let's start looking ahead, though, towards period number 2. And the first 11 seconds, it's going to be 4-on-4. Not a lot of time, but it could create an opportunity.
It can, and it's going to depend on that face-off. NC State did a fantastic job earlier in the game. Of course, the band plays as loud as they can, right when we come on air, Chris. But NC State won a lot of those early face-offs, but Georgia made their way back. They were winning a good bit towards the end, and by your count early on, it was 6-2 NC State, but Georgia has steadily come back in that face-off draw. There's only 11 seconds left, but you win the draw, you get a quick dump, you set the forecheck up, you forecheck until your other players come back out, and you win the puck back in an offensive setup.
I'll be interested as well to see how the goalies continue to settle in. We've seen both of them, Toyer and Hagen, make a couple of saves in tight and quick situations. We've also seen them both make a couple of miscues. Toyer almost gave it away on the power play. Hagen, we've seen drop a few glove saves and have to pounce on it. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out in the second.
Yeah, and I think it's also just that first real-time game speed against players that have not been shooting pucks against you for the last month or for several years. First time these two teams have played each other, first game of the season, you're going to get different looks. You're going to get different offensive sets. You're going to get different shots. And these goalies right now, they're doing a good job, but of course there's going to be some jitters. I think Isaac Toyer's play was just a very interesting nuance of how it's set up and how it happened. He was all by himself, how to come out, play that puck, and it got deflected. On the other end, Hagen's done a lot of what he could. I think the goal, you can't really put it on him. It's a power play goal, did everything he could, but he's made a couple of great flashy glove saves. You're NC State. He's 6'4". Shoot a little bit lower, I think.
Well, we're just about set to start period number 2. We'll step aside when we come back. Georgia and NC State back on the ice for the second.
Welcome to Moe's!
At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom,
an endurance athlete,
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Children exposed to poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children with good air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this, providing filtration technology to school children with poor air quality through the Clean Air for Kids program, helping kids to breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, removing barriers to learning, reducing sick days, and increasing test scores. This is all key to environmental and climate justice. Find out how you can help at IQAirFoundation.org.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
Fresh 20 minutes up on the clock here at Invisalign Arena. Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi with you at the start of period number 2. Jake Gifford with the power play goal for the icebreaker here in the first game of the season. 1-0 NC State. It's 4-on-4 as we start period number 2. Prasma, Herman, Labreezy, Thronson out there for NC State. It'll be Parente along with Conway as the forwards for Georgia. Their defensemen, Bill Martin and Truman Hagen. 11 seconds gone. That means we're back to 5-on-5 as Herman fans on a pass. Here's Parente for Georgia. Down low, he's got Declan Conway. He'll take a backhand shot. Save made and held onto as NC State will go to Ethan Roberts in net here in the second period.
Yeah, different look for NC State, but I want to touch on Evan Parente real quick, Chris. He's been a menace for NC State tonight. The play he's generating on that forecheck right there. Rushed Labreezy, got a great interception, set up a great shot attempt, and now an ozone draw, which they win.
Stop made off the face-off by the goaltender, and it squeaks through him and in. That's unfortunate for Roberts. He lost his stick on the first shot, and the second one found its way through. We're tied at 1, 25 seconds into the second.
Yeah, and if you're Roberts, this is a rude welcoming to the game, and if you're NC State, you got to help him out. Just when the point lost his stick, and then just right through the 5-hole on him, and a great look from Georgia. And like I said, Chris, early on, you know, Parente being a menace, forced that ozone draw, and it leads to a goal. Georgia's forecheck has really put NC State to the test so far, and just 25 seconds in.
Georgia controlling the face-off circle here in the second period as well. They've now won the first 3 draws as we're back underway.
Stick going, flying. A lot of lumber flying around here in the second period.
NC State back into the zone. Herman with the shot, stopped by Hagen. Loose in front, bouncing around on the side of the goal. It'll be cleared out by Georgia, but gloved down by Darlene, who is able to hold the zone as he gets knocked to the ice. Reese Johnson to it in the corner. He's going to try and turn away from pressure. Darlene pinching down the wall, slaps it wide of the net, works all the way around the boards, and Lapani has it at the near blue line. He'll take a hit as he throws it back deep. In the corner, they fight for it. NC State had it and lost it. The blue line, Lapani shot, padded wide. Darlene back down low, it slides on goal, and Hagen wisely covers up to stop the NC State onslaught there.
Yeah, NC State responds well after giving up that goal. I do want to touch on Ethan Roberts a little bit, the junior from Cary. He used to play at UW and, correct me if I'm wrong here, Chris, Claire, NCAA D3. So you got an NCAA goalie in net, but you still got to help him out there if you're NC State defensively. Great looks from Georgia, allowed that first goal, but the Ice Pack are helping him back. Some good ozone pressure.
Finch in the corner, has it. Will be pinned there and has it taken away. Grant Baird clears the zone. Chipped in by Watson behind the net. Roberts sweeps it along for Gifford. He'll touch it for Govea. Lost his edge for a moment, got it back, looking to the middle. Finch couldn't corral the pass. And now Georgia has it in that near corner. Good pressure there. Govea takes a hit after stripping a man of the puck. NC State continuing the forecheck.
Really good hit from Spencer Watson against the boards on Govea. Georgia's playing very physical and fast. They're winning the physicality battle.
Here's Zach Knoll. Finds a man on the left wing. Shot there, blockered away by Roberts. Fight for it in the corner. Govea trying to backhand it up the wall. 4-man scrum. Swept around but not out. Shot blocked by Sodden. NC State in control again. On and off the stick of Gifford. Blue line shot. Deflects wide. Ryan Miller with that chance. Turnaround shot sticked away by Roberts as Sirota throws it on goal. Another chance stopped by Roberts. NC State under some pressure here, and the pass out to the blue line gets all the way out of the zone, no icing. And NC State here has a chance to change after being under a lot of pressure there. Back into the zone though, Kerrigan for Georgia. Leaves it, shot skitters wide of the net off the stick of Spencer Watson. Work back down low. Loose in the near circle, Punzenberger shot. Swallowed up there by Roberts, and a face-off in the NC State zone coming.
Might seem like a weak shot from Hunsenberger, but it's a smart shot. There's so much traffic in front. We have a great angle of it just behind the Georgia bench. And Hunsenberger's got a little hole. There's a lot of traffic in front of Roberts. Nice little sneaky shot. Roberts, though, up to the test after allowing the second shot of the period to go.
Be Charlie Kerrigan on the draw for Georgia. NC State's going to have their centerman Holden Kaufman tossed from the circle. And instead it'll be Jack Ammons. Ammons wins the draw. NC State has it in the corner. Ammons behind the goal. He'll skate it out himself, looking for some help. Finds Kaufman, who knocks it along up that far side, but Georgia clears it right back to the NC State line. Ammons over to Kaufman. He'll absorb a hit and throw it deep. Back for it is Stewart. Clearance held in over on the far wall by NC State. Georgia still in control. This time the breakout pass gets out of the zone, but NC State takes over again. Labrizzi stretches it out for Ammons, but it hopped his stick, and icing is the call.
I thought Holden Kaufman got there first to that puck. It was going to be icing. It did hop the stick, but you see Kaufman coming around. I thought he won that race. Zebras say otherwise. And Georgia's got a good offensive zone draw. NC State, a couple of tired bodies out there now. The Ice Dogs attacked early in the period with a face-off from this exact side of the ice too to get that first goal.
So Jake Green on the face-off for Georgia, Holden Kaufman for NC State. Pack have a little bit of a disjointed line out here. They got caught in the middle of a change on that icing. Labrizzi in control. Up the wall. And Ammons clears it out. Gianconni going to chase it down. He's the one man who was fresh off the bench on that faceoff. And he'll get NC State a chance to hold the zone. The pass out is stolen away. Here's McAvoy down the left wing. He'll have it poked away momentarily by Thronson. Back out to the blue line. Shot coming. Roberts make the save. Cleared out on the rebound by Labrizzi. Held in though by Martin. He'll play it down low. Here's McAvoy. Turns with it. Stick on stick there for Labrizzi to shut that down. Kaufman picks up the loose change. They'll clear it out where it can be collected by Brandon Raleigh. Raleigh has it knocked away. NC State still trying to work it in, and they do. But Georgia will track it down. Martin up the far side. But Raleigh gets there to take it away. Loose puck collected by Gilmore. Out for Darlene. Walks the line. Shoots. Save made by Hagen, and he'll hold on with the glove.
This is a critical face-off for NC State because the ice has been tilted towards Georgia's way for about the last 6-7 minutes of this period, or really of game time, if you will. And the Ice Pack got to get something going offensively. They'll get a quick shot, but then they can't sustain the pressure, and Georgia's doing a much better job breaking out than NC State does. They're going to go out with, I believe, is their fourth line centered by Talon Langston right here. Yeah, it's a good forechecking line for NC State last year. They're going to rely on them again right now to try to get some more ozone time.
Langston ties it up and wins the draw himself. To the puck in the corner, he'll pin it there. Has some help coming in from Raleigh, who takes it away. Looking to the middle, that pass denied, and the Ice Dogs clear it out. Looks like it hit Darlene though, because icing's waved off. Lapani gets it from Roberts. Slides it along for Darlene on that left side. He'll go right back behind the goal for Lapani. NC State looking to get it out. Lapani plays it. Thought it was off the glass. It caught some netting though. And the face-off comes back to the NC State end here. 14:55 left in the second. It was Georgia tying things up just 25 seconds into this second period. And again, like they did later on in the first period, it feels like Georgia, once again here in the second, has had the edge.
And this is where they're most dangerous, the ozone draw.
Quick shot off the draw, but there was an infraction on the face-off. So they'll do it again. Evan Parente will be forced out of the circle.
I would do it again if you're Georgia. If you want to draw. Actually, Langston gets kicked out for Raleigh, but if you're Georgia, shoot it right off rim again if you want to draw.
Raleigh against Declan Conway. Conway wins it back. That shot from the stick of Bailey deflects high. One-timer from the blue line, blockered away by Roberts as he denies Miller. And it's out of play again.
Now Roberts has definitely settled into this game. He's getting some more defensive help. That's really the key, and he's also got a stick. He's not getting knocked around from a shot or from another player, which is key. But he's settled in. He's showing you why he played D3 hockey at the NCAA level right now.
Zach Herman out there along with Johnson and Prasma. So the top line for NC State back on the ice. They'll win the draw and clear it out, but it'll be controlled by Ryan Miller just outside the blue line. He sends it back in.
Heck of a job by Miller to keep that puck onside. It was solid with the blue stripe, never crossed it though.
Here's Lapani as his breakout pass shut down. Retrieves it again though. Herman will deflect the pass in. Prasma chasing it down for NC State as you get a look up close. Carried behind the goal by Miller. And they'll break it out into the middle. Beautiful pass finds Ryan Bailey. He'll walk around Lapani, who forces him off the puck. Conway there on the follow-up slaps it around the wall. Parente throws it back behind. Bailey trying to work out in front. It's stripped away. Mason Payne works it up the far wall, but not out. Lapani tracks it down now in the near corner. He throws it off the glass and out. Prasma will settle it down in the neutral zone. NC State in onside. Prasma behind the goal, turning with it, looking out in front, a bouncing puck in the slot, and the Ice Dogs come away with it. Parente, his pass hits a skate. Here's Prasma, a chance in front, and it's denied. He stumbles behind the goal. He had a chance with an open net, but NC State still has the pressure. Johnson trying to knock down an elevated pass, and Georgia clears it out. Moved along now, Bailey. His shot hits a skate, deflects off the glass and back out in front. Where it can be taken by NC State. Kyler Sun with a stretch pass, hit a dog, and that will negate the icing. Stewart looking up the middle, able to connect there with Watson. He'll carry it down the left wing. Throws it into the opposite corner. Gifford first there for State. Stretches it out for Govea, who brings it in. Has some help coming late. Govea, though, doesn't have time to wait. His shot blocked. They'll fight for it behind the goal now. Along the side, it's pinned to the net. And that will get a whistle and a stoppage just over 7 minutes into the period.
A lot of crazy bounces, a lot of up and down action in the last 90 seconds, but Joey Govea at the very end there kind of sneakily off the line change, ready at the blue line, but he had to stop and wait for that puck, and because of that allowed Georgia to catch up defensively. They're going to get their two deep men off the ice here, much needed with the ozone draw for NC State. Allowed Georgia to catch up, force Govea to take it behind the net.
Govea wins the face-off, but he wins it out of the zone. Labrizzi shoots it in from the right side. Gets past the stick of Hagen. Georgia will control and look to break out. Hagen, the defenseman, goes D to D with Martin. His breakout pass intercepted at the blue line by Govea, who shoots it back in. NC State checks up on the delayed offside. Finch in on the forecheck with speed now. Truman Hagen breaks it out for Evan Moore. Moore shoots it around the wall and in. He'll collide with Labrizzi. Gifford gets to the loose puck, moves it forward as Gifford hit hard, and he'll stay down. Slow to get up, but NC State back the other way. Finch with the shot, covered up by Hagen. And it looks like awkward collision with the hand for Gifford, which is, you don't want him to be injured, but you'd rather it be a hand than a head injury, which you a lot of times look at with heavy collisions like that.
Well, one of the sayings for the Bulldogs, what's that coming down the track? Well, Spencer Watson was coming down the track as a mean machine in cream and black today. But man, what a hit that was, and he let him know it afterwards too. He kind of looked down at Gifford a little bit.
Darlene with a shot off the draw. Might have caught the pad of Hagen into the corner. Little shove there on Ammons, knocks the puck loose. NC State can't hold the zone. Hagen clears it out. He'll shoot it deep, working around pressure. Jordan Sirota in deep for it. He finds Punzenberger behind the net. He's pinned there by the NC State defense, and then he clears it all the way down. It's on goal, so Hagen has to play it. He'll shoot it up that far right side for Georgia. Moved along now for Kerrigan down the right wing. His shot right into the gut of Roberts. And it'll be a face-off in the NC State zone.
Kerrigan flying into the boards and an awkward collision with his feet too. They didn't really have any time to move them around, but it looks like he's all right. Good to see there. That was pretty gnarly and awkward hit, but how about the hustle from him coming down the ice, as well as his teammate Dylan Punzenberger. A great hustle, but taking the shot was Kerrigan. Thought he had it. Good save with Roberts.
Lapani gets to the loose puck on the draw. NC State starting to tilt the battle back in their favor in the faceoff circle. Still a 1-1 game, though, approaching the halfway mark of the second period. Darlene smashed into the boards. Georgia's gotten a lot more physical this period. Starting to see them lay the body a little bit more. Darlene avoids a hit, breaks it out for Ammons. Along for Kaufman, down the right side, backhand try wide. Around the wall, it finds Darlene pinching in from the blue line. He'll sweep it deep and chase after it. First one there, though, Ryan Miller for Georgia. And he's going to be able to lift it out. Sodden plays it off the wall. Kaufman into the zone. Looking to the middle, that pass disrupted. Work back to the wall. Georgia has control. They'll clear it out to the red line. Chipped back in, and now we'll get a whistle. Kaufman played it in an offside position. That'll stop the clock. 10:48 left in the second.
Well, we talked about the physicality from Georgia. Sydney Healy working out some hands. Another Georgia saying is sick 'em. I won't bark like the fans do afterwards, but they are sicking them to the NC State defensivemen specifically with some big hits. Now, Rasmus Dahlin took a big one. He issued one back. We also saw Jake Gifford get issued a big hit that hurt his hand, and a couple other ones. So we talk of physicality. They're definitely sicking them.
NC State advances off the draw. They've won, I believe, 3 faceoffs in a row now. Georgia forces it back out. Sent in by Payne. Chipped up the wall by Georgia. It's McAvoy in control. Finds a teammate in the middle in Punzenberger, or pardon me, in Brandon Ing. Throws it cross ice into the corner. Thrown on goal by McAvoy. And Roberts covers it up.
I haven't really said Ing's name a lot. But he's quick, Chris. He really is. And if you look at him out there right now, especially huddled up around his teammates, he is significantly smaller
listed
than everybody
at 5'7",
else.
140 on the Georgia roster.
But man, does he pack a punch with his speed, and I know that's why he's on the team. You know, he gets really great speed, gets great offensive looks, and he brings that to Georgia. He also got great stick work too as he wins it back.
Egg turning at his own blue line. NC State won the draw. Couldn't control much past their own blue line, though. Langston able to pick up the turnover for NC State. He'll carry it in with Gilmore on his right. Cuts to the high slot. Bodied up. He loses the puck. Georgia trying to clear, but can't. Hauled in nicely there by Brandon Raleigh.
Retaliatory hit there from Raleigh.
Georgia advancing up the right wing. Gilmore pins his man to the wall. Raleigh takes a shove there from Jake Green. They were going at it at the other side of the ice. So keep an eye on it. Both teams not shying away from the physicality. As Herman walks it in, they're giving him some space. One-timer from Gilmore slides wide of the net. Georgia gets to it first.
Would have been a good look for Gilmore. I think it just kind of slid too far off his stick.
Bailey has it poked away by the NC State defense. Now it's Declan Conway taking a hit as he dumps it in. Behind the net, Roberts looks up the middle for Prasma, swats it out of danger, but Georgia will take over. Parente into the slot. Conway, open, big save. Roberts sprawling on the side of the goal, and I'm not sure if Conway got away a second shot or not. Great chance there for the Ice Dogs.
The Ice Pack get away with one. That puck was right in the middle. Johnson had to flip it away because there were 2 Ice Dogs coming at him. You never pass it into the middle on defense, right in front of your goaltender.
Bailey back in down the left wing. Bodied up there by NC State's Kyler Sun. Ice Pack take over. Prasma will skate it into neutral ice. Slides it forward looking for Reese Johnson, who gets tied up. And they'll fight into the corner for it. Georgia comes away with it. Skated forward by Evan Parente. He'll carry it into the zone. Steps away from Sun. Has plenty of time. Down low. Save made on the side of the goal by Roberts. There wasn't great contact with the puck there for Bailey. But Roberts had to be ready.
But 80% of goalies don't make that save, Chris. First, we're going to see that huge sprawling save that Roberts made earlier with the bad pass. And NC State barely able to get it out. I don't believe a second shot was made, but Roberts was going to seal it off regardless on the other end. George trying to get a little sneaky, but Roberts, Chris, he's got really good reflection and reaction time.
As I look up at the scoreboard, the shot total is 21-16 in favor of Georgia. It was 10-10. At the end of the first period as NC State ices the puck right off the draw. It'll come back down into the Ice Pack zone. But 11-6 shots in favor of Georgia this period. They obviously are winning the period 1-0 as well.
Yeah, and if you're on the right there, head coach of the Georgia Ice Dogs, John Camp. You got to be happy, and I expect that shot total to jump up by another one if they win this draw right away.
Top of the circle, shot blocked by Finch as Georgia won the ozone draw. Poked out by Govea. Gifford gets to the puck at the blue line. He'll look to the middle as Govea taken down away from the puck. Play will carry on. He got tangled up with a Georgia Ice Dog. I believe that was Graham Baird. Georgia with a chance. Big save made by Roberts. Gifford has the rebound. He's got time here.
Puck was bouncing on Gifford there. He gets flipped over. A big hit right in front of us.
NC State's got to keep their head on a swivel. Georgia flying all over the place, throwing big hits.
Spencer Watson again for Georgia, and he's issuing another hit.
Darlene now for the Ice Pack. He's got space up the left side, looking to the middle. That pass hits the skate intended for Finch. Govea now finds Finch, looking to the middle, under the stick of Gifford. That would have been a great chance, but Georgia turns it back up ice. Swept away by Darlene. Govea retreats into his own end now.
They got to get a change if you're NC State offensively. Gifford's had a long shift. He gets off, Govea comes off.
Mason Payne into the zone. Directs it behind the goal. Brady sends it deep. Swept back around by Ryan Miller. Chipped up the wall now. Kerrigan for the Ice Dogs. Floats it further along now. Tosher. Stop at the hash marks. Back up to the blue line off the skate of Evan Moore, who gets back to it. And then his pass deflects into the netting to stop play. 6:52 to go in period number 2.
Well, we said it a couple times, but the big hits for Georgia continue, and the main culprit, Spencer Watson, just letting the body fly. Everything clean as well. And it's getting to NC State, something that happened to them last year. Physicality increase, NC State's mentality in terms of keeping their head on a swivel and keeping it level decreased.
Shot off the faceoff again for Georgia. That's wide off the stick of Jordan Sirota. Georgia still with some pressure. Back at the blue line now, Warmath. Down low, Kerrigan. Moved long for Sirota. Looking back to the blue line, it hops the stick of Tyler Stewart, but he holds the zone. Around the wall, Sirota coming into pressure. Kaufman pokes it along, but not out. Warmath shot through traffic, fought off by Roberts. Back up the near wall again. Giancani gets pinned there. Georgia looking good in the ozone right now. Warmath again, walking into the top of the circle. Not sure if it was on net, but Roberts got a piece of it and steered it wide. Lapani now. Looking up this near wall again. They can't get it out this time. The shot from Kerrigan is held on to by Roberts. Georgia all over NC State here right now.
Yeah, and it looks just like the beginning of this period in the last couple minutes of the first period right now for Georgia. It's not like broken records, but Chris, their forecheck right now, NC State can't solve it. They don't have any answers for it, and they're being very aggressive with it. And again, it goes back to being the first game of the year and not having the full team chemistry out of it.
Another shot off the draw. Big save made by Roberts. He's been tested early and often this period, and he stood up to the task for the most part.
I think he's been the best player this period. Obviously, there's a goal by him, but again, Chris, he was right at the start of the period, lost his stick, icing here against the Ice Dogs, but ever since then, Chris, I mean, he's saved, what, 14 shots on goal this period?
And now up to 15. 15-6 in favor of Georgia. One thing I noticed during that last replay, it showed that turnover for NC State in the breakout. It's a little bit tough to tell, but you could tell enough. 4 guys flew the zone when NC State controlled it. And they left the man back there. I believe it was Kyler's son without many options. Shot off the draw from Prasma, stopped by Hagen. So NC State can have to help out on the breakout. Chance in front, shut down by the Georgia defense. It'll be carried out now by Graham Baird. Or pardon me, by Brandon Ing with speed into the offensive end. Can't control it. Johnson can't clear the zone. Oh, it did hop the stick of Hagen and got out. Now Prasma will put on some pressure. Right there, Bill Martin up the wall, but NC State able to stall it out. Breezy steals the breakout pass away. He'll retreat and give NC State a chance to regroup. Prasma got a stick up there on Martin, who came in to hit him. No arm up, so play will continue. NC State got away with one there. Now Hagen into the zone, looking for a trailer. They'll throw it off the wall. Declan Conway shoots it deep. Breezy pins his man to the wall behind the goal. That's Wyatt McAvoy for Georgia. Puck squirts loose, out in front, in tight. McAvoy can't get a shot away. Good defense there from the captain, Herman. He'll chip it out for Prasma. Back to Herman. He'll walk it in. NC State needs a change, though. Herman's tired. Back out. One-timer fanned on by Thronson in the slot. NC State still there. Brandon Raleigh throws it around the goal. Georgia back in control. Now Jake Green shoots it deep. Roberts to it for NC State. Played up to Darlene. He'll skate it up that left wing. Breaks into the zone himself, all the way down to the corner. Thrown out in front off the stick of Hagen. And the rebound cleaned up by the Georgia defense again.
I think Darlene got a little surprised that he was given that much space. I was expecting him to make a pass up the board soon. This is going to go all the way. No icing though, like moving off. But Darlene expected someone from Georgia to match him or at least make contact. Able to go in and take a shot.
Gilmore on the forecheck, putting pressure on Miller. Able to knock it loose. Some help now from Langston. NC State in control below the goal line. Under 4 minutes left in the period. Langston protecting the puck. Throws it around the wall. Sodden at the blue line now. He'll shoot it right back in. The corner, NC State goes to work on the forecheck. Gilmore gets it from Raleigh. Get a look up close now. Back up to the blue line. Darlene, the shot off the pad of Hagen. Raleigh back to it. Up to Sodden again, who one touches it down low. Gets past a couple of skaters. NC State still has it. Gilmore turning with it in that near corner. Hands it off to Talon Langston. Walks into the circle. Cross ice. Shot off the side of the goal from Tate Sodden. NC State with their best chance in the offensive zone so far. This has been great pressure thrown on goal, and Hagen will hold on to that one for a face-off with 3:10 to go.
And that's a much-needed stoppage of play for the Georgia Ice Dogs. The long change, Chris, we didn't say it at all in the intermission. If you're playing bingo back home again, you finally cross it off and mentioning the long change in the second period, but it really mattered right there. Georgia had several tired bodies, a whole new fresh five out there for them. NC State's best look, I think, since the power.
There's a chance off the draw. Whistles wide of the glove of Hagen and wide of the net. Tyler Sun walking in, shoots one through traffic that doesn't get to the net. Gifford now held up, and Georgia will take over. Definitely seen the physicality ramp up here this period. Gifford stumbling to the ice, swats it along to the near side. Finch trying to get there first. Now it's Sun, has it knocked away. The follow-up for Georgia, it's Evan Moore. Can't get the shot off, it got caught up in skates. First one to it is Joey Govea of NC State. He's hit hard on the near side, and Austin Finch finds the loose puck. Govea back up and going. That was a heavy hit. Georgia continuing to lay the body.
Guess who it was, Chris? Spencer Watson, once again, number 16.
Back up, Gifford at the blue line. Thrown towards the net, got caught up in skates. Georgia trying to clear. Sun holds it at the line. Right back in, but the Ice Pack need a change. Far side, Nate Haley. He'll chip it in. Georgia gonna get some fresh bodies out themselves. Puck caught behind the goal. NC State under some pressure. Good forecheck from Sirota. He'll pin it to the wall and send it back behind the goal. NC State's Mason Payne finds it first. Now Giancani looking into the middle, trying to connect there with Ammons. It's kicked along by Kaufman. Ammons' shot is patted away by Hagen. NC State getting some good chances here late. Down to the last 90 seconds of the period now. NC State behind the goal, Connie. Thrown around for Kaufman. Back up top, Labrizzi. Dusts it off, throws it on goal. Off the stick of Hagen, who holds on to the rebound. We're starting to see NC State tip the scales back in their favor, Nick.
It definitely is, and Chris, I was going to say that too, is that NC State looks like a different team the last couple of minutes. I don't know what awoken in them, but they're the ones playing more physical. They're the ones with the extra step than Georgia, and they're carrying the offensive play. Georgia going to go with a new forward group, and some conversation between the D-men for Georgia. That's Bill Martin and Truman Hagen back there, discussing what they need to do on this next defensive play. NC State with a fast third line centered by Kaufman.
Will be Kaufman on the draw, wins it back for Ammons. Back into the corner for Kaufman, who plays it up the wall, but it's not strong enough to get to the defenseman in Bronson. So here come the Ice Dogs. And then Parente into the slot. Poked away nicely by NC State's defense. It's going to be a good chance for Bailey. Now it's Kaufman in transition. Stops up at the near circle. Finds an open teammate there. And Johnson is loose there, but covered up by Hagen. He had Jack Ammons lurking.
And I can tell what Holden Kaufman did this offseason is he got faster, Chris. He genuinely was flying down the ice there looking for Ammons across. Great opportunity, and it forced a sprawling save from Hagen. Get another look behind the play. A couple of pushes and shoves there with Ammons. Nothing too much, though, as the refs gets in their way, and Ammons keeps his head.
Top line out for NC State. Initially won the draw, shut down by Georgia, who on a second effort will clear the zone. Move forward by Bailey. Shut down trying to get to the slot. Prasma finds the loose puck on the far wall. He'll circle with it. Picking up speed. Plays it forward now for Johnson. Herman there as well. They can't connect on the pass into the zone. It's cleared out by the Ice Dogs defense. They're going to try and force their way forward. 30 seconds left in the period. Labrizzi has it hop his stick. Parente behind the goal now for the Dogs. Looking to the middle. Johnson intercepts. Herman back the other way. 22 seconds to go. He'll break into the offensive end. Down that right wing. Into the corner. Back behind the goal. He's forced to the wall by Hagen. Down low, Johnson. Loses it to Prasma. Up top, Dahlin. Into the slot. Open. Johnson shot off the side of the goal. And we're about out of time. NC State thrown back around the wall. Labrizzi with 3 seconds. His shot fanned on, and that will finish off period number 2. A little bit of extra pushing and shoving after the buzzer there, though. These two teams starting to get a little heated.
Yeah, Hagen and Herman were at it on the ground with each other once again. This time, no call. I think they could have gone both ways there. The refs letting them play, but the physicality's picking up once again for both teams. Now, if you're Georgia, you tie the game, but the second part of that period, specifically last 6 minutes, looked not good. I don't want to say bad because they did have great offensive opportunities. In fact, I believe that Parente went with the wraparound on the other end. He's got a good chance of scoring because Roberts lost his footing. Someone skated into him to make him lose his footing. But Parente went a little wide, was looking for the pass, didn't get it there. But 1-1 in the third, Chris. Anyone's game.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a much better situation as we head into period number 3. 1-1 between Georgia and NC State. We'll be back with the second intermission.
after 40 minutes, there's nothing separating these two teams. NC State and Georgia tied at 1 here at the second intermission. Chris Lehman back alongside Nick Perazzi. And Nick, was Georgia's period for the most part. NC State had a 2-3 minute stretch there later in the period where they looked good in the offensive end, but outside of that, it really felt like Georgia controlled that period.
Yeah, 25 seconds in, Isaac Haugen finds the back of the net with ease, and then the rest of the period, the physicality and forecheck of Georgia, they established themselves. One of the Perazzi points today, the city that never sleeps. Georgia hasn't slept with establishing, their game style, and it's not a lot of shots for the other team and a lot of physicality, but very disciplined, and that's what we've seen so far. Just 2 penalties for the Dogs so far. And one name I keep saying, Spencer Watson. I mean, he's just out there. One of the most physical players we've seen enter this building in terms of ACHA hockey here. He's out there laying people out, and it's clean too. That's the best part about it.
Well, the player he kind of reminds me of that any Hurricanes fans or also NC State fans might not like to hear me say, Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
He runs around, throws the body around, and to me, it's been very obvious how that has impacted the game. NC State looks scared with the puck at times, and it's caused some mistakes, so they're certainly feeling it when it comes to the physicality.
Unlike Tom Wilson, these hits aren't dirty or malicious, Chris. Let's put it that way. Let's not compare Spencer Watson to that, but Georgia being a big football school, someone like Nakobe Dean is someone that came to mind for me. He's out there like a linebacker, lurking. You've got the puck, I'm coming after you with the hit. And you're right, Chris. We saw in the first period NC State, a little jitters, can't find who they want to pass the puck to get out of the zone. But now it's, I got to get rid of this thing before I get hit hard. And we're seeing
a freight train.
Yeah, exactly. What's that coming down the track? We said it earlier, and it's true again. But if you're NC State, you got to be able to reverse hit as well, or just keep your head on a swivel, take the hit, but make the correct pass.
Well, I will say one of the big bright spots for NC State that period was in net. Ethan Roberts takes over for Isaac Toyer, gives up the goal early, can't fault him too much, got a little bit of bad luck as his stick got knocked out of his hand on the initial shot, and then it's tough to cover that 5-hole when you don't have a stick. It squeaked through, but other than that, made a couple of point-blank saves without a lot of time to react. He looked good in his first game so far.
Yeah, he definitely has. 15 of 16 saved. That's a great ledger right there. That's well over 90% in terms of a save percentage. In that first 25 seconds, welcome to NC State Ice Pack. You're playing the Georgia Ice Dogs, and they're going to get one right by you. But he settled in after that. A lot of goalies have trouble after that. They give up an early goal in their first game, their first couple seconds. But you got to give credit to Ethan Roberts. He's done a fantastic job letting the game come to him, and he's made some pretty good sprawling saves.
Well, NC State, as we mentioned, did have some chances later in the period. They had as I mentioned, about a 3 or so minute stretch where they pinned Georgia in their own end. So when they're able to get set up, they're still getting chances.
They are, but one thing you got to look out for Georgia, some players, we've seen for Georgia kind of lurk back towards the point. Georgia gets the puck back in their own zone. They're flying down the ice, odd man rushes, 2-on-2s that get NC State out of position.
Well, there's 20 minutes to decide this one between NC State and Georgia. We're going to take a break here at the second intermission. We'll have assistant coach Eric Mura with us when we come back.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better. Oh, don't forget about hot ovens or hot peppers. Hot springs, hot chocolate, hot sandwiches,
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons, hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese.
Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joan the Phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on.
We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works!
security. Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world.
Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. These programs cover doctor's appointments, hospital visits, prescriptions, shots, and more. As parents, we get peace of mind knowing that our children are covered if they are sick or get injured. You may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if you've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Back here in Invisalign Arena, Nick Perazzi with assistant head coach Eric Mira. Eric, we talked a little bit off air. It's a physical one out there. How do you guys play up to Georgia's physicality?
Yeah, I just think we have to punch back, right? They're giving us the punches. We gotta kind of step up and punch back, right? It's one of those things. We knew that coming in that they were going to be a physical team, and it's showing right now, right? I think what we have to do is kind of get back to our speed a little bit, beat them outside, and get it really where it matters.
Now, early in that period, it did not look good for you guys. First 25 seconds, Georgia on the board. Their forecheck was killing you guys. What adjustments did you guys make during the period? Because those last 5 minutes, you guys carried pace of play.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to that last 5 minutes, right? We did not start on time, and that's one of the things that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, right? Is you got to start on time. I think the first period we started on time, the second period we didn't, and it kind of shows, right? You can't take a shift off every single time. You have to go out. You got to be ready for everything. So, I'm hoping in the next, 11 minutes they kind of compose themselves and get ready to go for the third period.
Speaking of that third period, is there any issues that you guys need to work on or adjust heading into that third period to kind of counter what Georgia's been doing to you guys?
I think we just got to skate a little faster, honestly. I thought we were looking a little slow, but maybe, we've been practicing for 2 weeks, right? So it's one of those things. We got to get our legs underneath us. We got to keep moving forward and, really attack where we need to. We got to drive to the front of the net. We got to get shots. I think the last 5 minutes we had 7 or 8 shots. So it's one of those things. We got to start on time, use our speed, match their physicality in a smart way so we don't take any penalties, and we can stay 5-on-5 with them.
And one last question for you, assistant head coach Eric Mira of the NC State Ice Pack. Last year, third periods for you guys could be a struggle. A lot of discipline issues, a lot of just issues in allowing late goals and teams coming back into them. What have you guys done this offseason to prevent that?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to our culture. Like all the guys that we brought in, we have 16 freshman guys. It comes down to building new culture for what we're doing this year. Obviously, stepping up another league, another division, it's going to change. So, really bringing in the culture of our identity and really knowing who we are. And, I think it's going to show. I think we got to, again, use our speed to our advantage, and let's see what we can do out of it.
Well, hitting back and playing fast are your guys' 2 key points to the third period. When we come back, me and Chris are going to break down what we expect to see from both teams out of the third period.
little over 5 minutes from the start of period number 3. And it's going to be a winner-take-all period. 1-1 between NC State and Georgia here at the second intermission. Chris Lehman, Nick Barrazzi with you. And Nick, you were able to talk to assistant coach Eric Mura there in that last segment. And you addressed the physicality a little bit, but to me, that's the biggest thing. Another thing he mentioned in there was slow play, which I think, kind of bleeds over from that physicality aspect.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to take one step this way, Chris, so I don't get blocked by the countdown. It's a puck timer. But that interview with Eric that I had with him, it's very, very good. It's change of pace with the players, of course. You get a lot more out of it. But he mentioned, we got to hit him back. I mentioned Patrick Watson so many times this intermission, the last period as well. He's issuing a lot of hits, and NC State's not getting back. One key thing he did say, though, and I brought up in my last question, was discipline. Got to be clean, level-headed hits back. And last year, NC State third period, so many games lost in the third period because of discipline or poor performance in those third periods, mainly the discipline. And with a team as physical as Georgia, the culture that Eric Mura was talking about is going to be tested here, see if there's a big difference compared to last year. And so far, Chris, I think there is.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And the question is, how disciplined do they stay in the third period? I do wonder, as you talked about it, the discipline issues last year was certainly nailed in by the coaching staff at the end of the season, the issues they had with that. And I wonder if maybe they played a little extra timid because they didn't want to take penalties in that second period.
That might be what it is, too. I think you're on something there, Chris. But at the same time, I think NC State, they're playing their own game. They're not going to play mind games with Georgia. And when they did that last year, that's how they got into trouble. That's how they lost some of those games. Like I said at the top of the show, about 7-8 games were lost because of discipline for NC State last year, which is just unacceptable. That team had so much promise, but the discipline cost them. A lot of roster turnover coming into this season for NC State, a lot of discipline changes, and so far, it's showing off with the culture and a lack of penalties and retaliation that NC State's taking.
Well, somebody's going to have to score to win this game, and if you're going to score, you need shots. I think if you're NC State, pretty badly outshot in the second period, they're going to need more shots on Isaac Hagen here in the third.
And it's got to be more consistent. They're actually only down 2 on the shot counter. They entered the second period up 1, but the consistency of them. One thing that Georgia loves to do is shoot right off the face-off draw. They love just a quick shot. It hasn't worked all the time. But if you're NC State, look for them to fake a shot, make a pass, and get an open net for a goal. We don't know who's going to be playing goalie in this third period, Chris. But if you're the Ice Pack offensively, I'd like to see them move Hagen around a little bit. Haven't seen a lot of cross ice passes in front of him. I think that might be the recipe for success. Get him a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if head coach Tim Healy goes with Peter Bartels in the third to give each goaltender a chance. But Ethan Roberts looked really good in the second. Should be a great third period coming up after the break here on ESPN+.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom,
an endurance athlete,
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Children exposed to poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children with good air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this, providing filtration technology to school children with poor air quality through the Clean Air for Kids program, helping kids to breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, removing barriers to learning, reducing sick days, and increasing test scores. This is all key to environmental and climate justice. Find out how you can help at IQAirFoundation.org.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a Real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a Real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/RealID or your local DMV.
40 minutes down, 20 to go. Mr. and Miss Wolf welcoming the NC State Ice Pack back onto the ice here at Invisalign Arena. NC State and Georgia tied at 1 after 2 periods of play. And Nick gonna have to make some changes in the third period. They got outplayed, felt like pretty significantly in the second.
Yeah, they definitely did, but again, talking with Eric Muir, they recovered very, very well going into the end of that period, especially the last 5 minutes. But again, Chris, goaltending, got a different goaltender.
That'll be Peter Bartels taking over for NC State between the pipes. So head coach Tim Healy going to give all 3 of his goaltenders dressed tonight the chance to get some action here in the first game. And we're going to see a lot of tinkering with lines in game, between games here early in the season as Coach Healy figures things out with his roster and his lineup. But Nick, I'll let you tell us a little bit more about the new goaltender.
Yeah, Peter Bartels, a Canadian from Kitchener, Ontario. Going to graduate in 2027, a junior, and he played for the Rochester Junior Americans of the NAHL. That's a pretty good team to play for and have on your roster sheet as well. So again, experienced goaltending for NC State. A lot of older guys as well for the Ice Pack. But again, on the other side of the ice, Georgia's going to stick with Isaac Hagen. He's played a great game so far. And I got to shout his pads out too, the Bulldog. Just so nice.
It'll be Herman on the faceoff for NC State against Declan Conway of Georgia. Both teams with their top lines out to start the third and final period. Georgia controls off the draw, played up for Bailey at the red line. He'll shoot it deep. It took only 25 seconds into the second period for Georgia to strike and even up the score. NC State looking for a quick chance here. Prasma throws one high off the glass. And Georgia comes up with the rebound. It's Conway up the left wing. Bodied up there by Labrizzi. Loose puck sitting in the slot. And it's Labrizzi getting to it. Has it poked loose. Conway leaves it. Shot! And a save made on Parente by Bartels. His first test, a big one.
And NC State again leaving their freshly injured in the game goalies out to dry, but Bartel, what a save. A nice little drop pass to Parente. Thought that shot's probably getting blocked, but here's your first test. It's you and Parente one-on-one, and he's about 15 feet away from you. Great glove save.
NC State controls the D-zone draw, can't clear as it's knocked back in by Bill Martin. Down in the corner, NC State can't clear. Shot back around by Bailey. Lapani there for the Pack. He'll turn away from a hit. Has some support there. It's Herman trying to skate it out. Lost control. Parente takes over. He'll sweep it into the corner past Bailey and behind the net. NC State's defense gets there. Skating with it now, Prasma. Has space down the left wing, looks for a lane to the middle, has some trouble pulling the puck through, and Georgia will take over. Parente stretching things out. Nice play there by Mason Payne as he ties up Evan Moore. Georgia able to clear it deep. Watson sweeps it across, nobody there in a light colored jersey. Now Finch for NC State. Looking to feed it through for Prasma. Off the skate there of Graham Baird. Prasma to it. He'll turn on a dime, but loses control. Georgia back the other way. Played along for more. It got past him and all the way down. Georgia in on the forecheck. Finch to it for the Pack. Played over to Gifford. His pass hits his skate. Ricochets back in the NC State end. Chance brewing here for Georgia. Shot doesn't get through. Fanning on it for the Ice Dogs was Moore. Now NC State turns it up. Govea couldn't get to the puck in the corner. First one there is Baird of the Ice Dogs. Plays it along the wall. Collision there among teammates. Now Govea has the loose puck. Walking in front. Shouldered down on the shot there by Hagen. NC State trying to recollect. Played off the glass and out by Watson. Trickle down in on Bartels. Paddles it over to the far side for Finch. Chipped along as Finch gets hit into the neutral zone. Georgia back in control. They'll shoot it deep and go off for a change.
Wolf teams kind of just can't sustain the offensive zone pressure right now, feeling each other out. Good chances though for each team, but NC State I think has entered the zone a lot better than Georgia.
Finch has his shot blocked coming into the zone. Picked up in the far corner by Warmath. Move it across to the near side. Now Sirota bodied up as he moves it forward for Nate Haley. Haley into the corner, looking in front. Bartels gets a stick to it. One-time try there, not on goal. NC State has it again. Breezy into the corner. Moved rink wide now for Thronson. Stretching it out, he finds the stick of Ammons, who will go in on the forecheck. Knocks it loose from Stewart. Looking in front, pass can't connect. Georgia pressures behind the goal. Connie has it caught in his skates. He's going to get tangled up there with a Georgia defenseman. Still loose as it's worked up the wall. A Breezy looking for a tip. It comes off the wall behind. And a nice job by Hagen on his toes to cover that up.
Yeah, and NC State getting to that dirty area, working the corners. They like to do that a lot later in games. You saw it last year as well. Now they're trying to get physical towards the end on offense, and sometimes it does backfire because they do get in too deep, but they did a great job there holding their possession, especially with 2 D-men.
Ammons on the draw. Kaufman set up behind him for the set play. Georgia going to win it though. Lifted off the glass, but it takes a funny carom. Stays in the zone momentarily. Ing able to swat it out of the zone. NC State eventually corrals in their own end. There's Giancarlo, chips and chases. Ammons in on the forecheck as well. Slapped around the wall to the near side. Kaufman on the wall has it knocked loose. Here comes Brandon Ing with some speed trying to get around Sun. An off angle. It's fought off and out of play. Get a face-off in the NC State zone.
I think we're about to see one of these teams start establishing a great offensive zone threat, and I think it's going to stay that way for about 3 or 4 minutes, Chris. It just feels like it's inevitable to happen the way this game goes, each team taking turns. And again, Georgia face off the O-zone. If they win it, expect a shot right away.
NC State wins the draw on their own end, looking to clear. Bouncing puck at the blue line held in by Bailey. Turn a shot on goal from the blue line. Pad save made by Bartels. NC State looking to break out at the blue line. It's shot back deep by Martin. In the corner. Centering pass denied there by NC State. Now with some space to skate it out, Dahlin. He'll chip it in. Trying to track it down, out to play it. Goaltender Hagen finds Parente. Advanced for Conway. Down the left wing, marked by Sun. Good defense there by Kyler Sun. NC State takes over. Gilmore has speed down the right wing. Nice pack. They're going to go off for a change as they bring it in. Gilmore shoots it right into the breadbasket of the netminder Hagen. It'll be an ozone draw for NC State upcoming.
And again, both teams just can't sustain any zone pressure. They're getting shots off though. But I think it's going to be up to who can forecheck better. Both teams doing a much better job answering it. The question is which team finds a little bit of an issue with the other team, a little weakness, if you will.
Gilmore behind the goal. NC State control off the drop. Mason Payne, D to D, Lapani. Slap pass down low for Talon Langston. They'll work it rink wide for Payne again. Looking for a lane, throws it on goal. Blocked by the skate there of Graham Baird and cleared. Now Lapani up the middle, can't connect with Gilmore. Georgia takes over. Ryan Miller looks
Big.
cross-ice, big hit from Rady. As Georgia works it deep. NC State back in control. Lapani looking forward, overshoots Gilmore. This is going to slide all the way down. No icing though. NC State can get a change.
And Rady bringing that physicality Eric Muir was talking about. Also saw a hit chance again from Rady. He's everywhere right now for NC State.
Nice pack forecheck, giving Georgia a little bit of trouble, trying to break it out. Prasma gets a stick on that pass, but Zach Bull gets to it anyhow.
That was a bailout that Prasma did not get that. A very bad pass from Warmouth.
Watson, cross ice, connects with Warmouth. Has it poked off his stick. Georgia holds the blue line. Lapani in the corner. Played up the wall. Brady, cross ice. Be collected by Mason Payne. Down the wing, his shot blocked on the left side. Bodied up behind the net. Loose puck collected by Johnson. Prasma with the shot. That went off the pad of Hagen and wide. Cleared out up the near wall and out by Georgia. Doesn't have enough pace to get all the way, so no icing. Breezy sweeps it off the wall. Prasma gets to it first in neutral ice. He'll send it all the way down. NC State going to get some fresh legs out once again. 13 and a half minutes left in a 1-1 hockey game.
I've had a lot of stoppages in a while either, Chris.
Only a few this period so far. A good flow to this third so far. Breezy plays it back behind. Franz up the wall. Georgia takes over in neutral ice. Kerrigan shoots it back in. Bartel's behind his own net, leaves it for Thronson, who swats it up the wall. Georgia sends it right back in. Govea. Wait out for Finch. He'll step around a defender. Cross ice for Gifford. His pass disrupted, and again, Dogs cleared out.
Right now, Chris, just both teams going back and forth at it. These are two teams that are evenly matched. Very similar skill sets, physicality. Good little forecheck here from Govea, though.
Pins the puck behind the goal. Some help from Finch. Touched out for Darlene at the blue line. He'll walk long, shoots it high. Might have caught a body on the way in. Sodden pitches into the corner to hold the zone. Georgia with numbers there, able to take away the puck. It'll be thrown off the glass, but not out. Finch across for Gifford. Looks it over, shoots, and it'll be swallowed up by Hagen. NC State starting to sustain some pressure.
Yeah, and that puck kind of bounced on Jake Gifford there for a second, and because of that, by the time he was ready to shoot, Hagen took everything but, that sharp angle above the shoulders, and then, of course, the 5-4 right here. He has to collect and then go across, and I think it's actually a defensive play from Bill Martin coming across, closing off the glove side of Hagen. Really good job from the D-man to help his goalie out.
Kaufman to face off against Jake Green. Kaufman wins it. Ammons with the shot. It'll be held on to again by Hagen.
Yeah, Ammons looking for the 5-hole there. Puck just a little bouncy once he gets it on his stick and shoots it, and it just kind of skips into Hagen there. If he keeps it low, tries a 5-hole there, he might have had a chance there.
Rematch the draw. Puck tied up this time. Georgia can't clear. Darlene has it hop his stick. He's going to get back to it first and get tied up and knocked down. Play carries on. Georgia forces it into the offensive end as they just power their way down below the goal line. NC State back in control. Sodden turns away from some pressure, retreats behind the goal. Moved up Darlene. Cross ice pass gets deflected, still finds its way over. NC State's Ammons. Advanced along by Sodden and into the zone. NC State needs their deep pairing to get a change, and they do. Pass intercepted by Kaufman. They'll turn it back the other way for NC State. Looking across the high slot for Giancani. Gets to it at the blue line and shovels it in. Kaufman knocked off the puck there momentarily by Miller. Takes control, throws it off his own teammate and Ing. They'll deflect back over for Baird, and he clears.
So last couple of minutes, it's been NC State, controlling the pace of the play, getting good shots on goal. They've actually cut the shots on goal deficit down to 1. And again, this forecheck from the ice pack is causing a lot of troubles. A little physical there from Brandon Raleigh.
And there's a penalty coming up. Raleigh got hooked up and taken down. Talk about discipline on the NC State side. That's just an undisciplined penalty from number 9, Graham Baird.
And it's retaliatory too, I think. It is.
Hooked him up. There was no reason to do that. And he made it way too obvious. These officials have been reluctant to make calls. There are a few on both sides that they probably could have called earlier on that they've let go, but that's one that's just too obvious. And with an NC State power play that's 1-for-1, that's not what you want if you're Coach Camp of this Georgia squad.
Graham Bird to the box for 2 minutes, and I said it, Chris, a big hit from Raleigh, and it was just all retaliatory. You got to keep your head level and stay disciplined if you're the Ice Dogs.
NC State will set up the power play. Herman, Johnson, Govea, Prasma, Franzen out there. Shot from the blue line, swallowed up by Hagen. Face-off will stay in the Georgia end.
NC State's relying a lot on traffic in front this game for shots on goal. That's how they have their power play goal, but again, they only have one right now. They need to create some more space, I think. Again, generate some cross-ice passes, look for some one-time opportunities. We haven't really seen that from really either team so far.
NC State gets to the puck first off the draw, thrown through the crease by Johnson. Nobody there to get a stick to it. Franzen does a nice job holding the zone. Govea to it in the corner. Now Johnson, left for Herman. Back up for Thronson, will move it along to Prasma. Into the high slot. Shot from Johnson, deflects just wide. Govea tied up with the goaltender. He'll get knocked around. NC State still in control. Herman looks back up for Thronson at the top of the umbrella. His shot, glove save made. Poking away at it was Govea. He'll get run over as the whistle's blown. And the official coming in from behind is saying somebody's going to the penalty box. And it'll be interesting to see. I don't know how you can take anyone from NC State here, but it's got to be matching minors. I can't imagine doing anything but matching minors.
The Georgia Ice Dogs want a goaltender interference the first time Govea made contact with Hagen. They might just be...
He was just pulling the face-off out of the zone, and I'm not exactly sure why. That one's a little puzzling. 1:18 left on the power play for NC State. Asma tripped up there right off the draw play, continues. 1:10 left now on the man advantage. Here's Herman up the middle, picks up some speed. He gets slashed, and we continue. Herman down the wing, sweeps it in front with one hand, but Hagen's there to melt it down and stop play.
About halfway through the third period, the intensity and urgency of this game is definitely picking up. Georgia on the penalty kill, and again, still having some line troubles seeing who's out there, and I think it was just communication from Tyler Stewart to one of his coaches, but the physicality is going to pick up, and it's going to be whoever takes a bad penalty. It's the reason why Georgia's on the penalty kill for the next minute still, and NC State's taking advantage. They have a 2-shot-on-goal lead, outshooting Georgia by a good bit this period.
State goes with their second unit now. Kaufman along with Rady, Gifford, Labrizi, and Dahlin. So 2 defensemen on this power play. Kaufman now with it. 45 seconds on man advantage as he's knocked to the ice. NC State still has it. Gifford's shot fought off by the blocker of Hagen. Rebound collected by Warmath. He's looking for a clearance, can't find it. Rady for Labrizi. Up top, Dahlin. Moved across Gifford. He'll look cross ice now and throw it off the wall for Labrizi to track down. Centered, deflected by Rady, but sealing off the bottom of the net is Hagen. 23 seconds left on the power play.
And Hagen's been tested a lot. Someone's stick just went flying there, and a nice catch from catch, and it was the stick of Evan Moore kind of flew, but he's asking for a penalty for it. I don't know what happened. It went about 15 feet in the air, but if you're Georgia, you got to get the puck to neutral ice. It's been a struggle for them to clear the zone, and they're just playing around with the puck in front of them. They just got to shoot it down.
Kaufman wins the draw to Dahlin, fakes the shot, now takes it. Pad save from Hagen. Gifford gets it back to Kaufman, looking out in front. Oh, he was able to find an open Labrizi, but it handcuffed him and he couldn't put it on goal. 10 seconds left on the man advantage. Now Georgia will clear. That should finish off the power play, but a great chance there, and Labrizi just couldn't quite square it up.
I went off the side of the net, but right now for NC State, is there some more contact going on without the puck? But if you're NC State, that power play looks really, really good. They tested Hagen, had him lost a lot.
Here comes Dahlin up the right wing. Has a man with him in Raleigh. Slowed up along the wall, stolen away at the blue line, and here come the Dogs. Zach Knoll cutting to the middle. He'll be tied up by Payne. Some help coming back from Dahlin as well. They'll fight for it in that far corner now. Puck loose behind the goal. Mason Payne comes away with it. Finds Gifford on the left side. He'll skate it through neutral ice. NC State has numbers here briefly. Shot from Gifford. and it's right into the gut of Hagen, who holds on. And again, Georgia not liking NC State getting too close to their goaltender.
No, it's not. They're going to hold up. Back to that look for Labrizzi, and he just couldn't corral it correctly. Georgia just put enough pressure on him, got a little stick to the puck. It was hopping as well, and Labrizzi just put it off the side of the net. Interesting to see the officials take control of this game.
It's going to go to 4-on-4 here. They needed to
take
call
Langston.
some penalties here. There have been some pushing and shoving, and it's gotten
Langston
a little
and Baird second of the period.
excessive.
Yeah, this is after the play.
Roughing, I would imagine, on both of them.
A lot of words being said between Gifford and Dylan Punzenberger. Punzenberger looked like he was yelling at him, but we'll go to 4-on-4. This is how the end of the first period, start of the second period happened. A lot of speed out there for both teams, of course. You know, it takes one mistake in the way Georgia's been playing. NC State's got to be careful if they win this draw and go point to point.
NC State's got Herman and Prasma up front. Sodden is out there on defense with Mason Payne. For Georgia, it's Bailey and Parente up front. And then their top team pairing back there. Prasma with space. Can't get the shot away as Hagen down to a knee, able to deny that. Out there with Martin as that top defensive pairing. Prasma, good pressure here on the forecheck. Georgia passes their way out of it. Parente spins past Herman. He'll skate down that left wing. Stops at the hash marks. Looks across. Bailey trying to step around Sodden and can't. Loose puck picked up by Prasma. 30 seconds gone on the 4-on-4. Prasma down the left side. He'll work behind the goal. Out in front looking for Payne, and that gets deflected away. Georgia back the other way. They've got an abbreviated 2-on-1. Centering pass. Parente open. Oh, I don't think he got the shot away on NC State's netminder and Bartels. But a great chance there for Georgia in the odd man rush.
That's the best look Georgia's had this period by far. They haven't had many good looks, but the odd man rush, it was dropped off perfectly. I think there might have been a shot, but Bartels took away the 5-hole, and it was a great save.
Here goes NC State. Payne looking to the middle, trying to connect with the stick of Connie and Camp. Kaufman sweeps it back in. Tyler Stewart advances for Declan Conway. He'll skate it into the zone. Conway through 3 ice pack players. He'll steer it behind the goal. First one there is NC State's Payne. Thrown up the wall and out. This one has enough juice for icing. We'll get the whistle. 31 seconds left of 4-on-4 play. 6:54 left in the third. It's 1-1.
A little surprised here. Georgia's not going to go with a different group since NC State's got a lot of tired bodies out there with the ice and they can't sub, but Georgia trusts this 4, and again, they win the draw, Chris. Instant shot on goal. This is how Georgia's been playing, but they're getting now outshot by 5 in the total game. I believe just 2 shots in the whole entire period.
Face off. Georgia controls. Quick shot from the blue line, blocked by Gianconti. Georgia able to maintain the zone though. Back up to the blue line. It gets away from Warmath and out. We'll go D to D with Stewart, who returns the favor. Back wide for Stewart again. Backed at by NC State. They'll knock it back deep. Just about out of 4-on-4 time. 6.5 to go in the third. Nothing separating these two teams right now, though. NC State out shooting Georgia 10-3 this period.
4-on-4 ended, back to 5-on-5.
Beats with speed, takes the shot off the glass behind. Brady absorbs a hit, keeps the zone. Finds Ammons, to Sun. Laid off for Brady. Off angle shot, fought off there by Hagen. Brady goes back up to the blue line. Darlene down the wall. Ammons shot through traffic, blocker save made by Hagen. Good chances again for NC State. Clearance glove down by Darlene. He'll throw it off the wall for Kaufman. He'll take it in himself down the right side. Looking to the middle, throws it off a pad into Rex out in front. And Georgia, only one there to collect the rebound. He'll lift it up and out. Over Thronson, Labrizzi trying to get to it. Bartels lets it trickle in on him. He'll cover up with 5:34 to go.
Coming down the final 5, Chris, and for both teams, you know, NC State's carried most of the plays third period. There's been good chances for both teams. Obviously more for NC State, but if you're Georgia here, again, every faceoff you won pretty much in this game, you take a quick shot. Fake a shot, have someone leak towards the other side of the ice. I'm specifically looking at Dylan Mormont and let him rip one.
Georgia again looking to control off the draw. Held in by Stewart at the blue line, throws it back behind the goal. Breezy first to it for the Pack. Two Georgia players there on the forecheck. It's Kerrigan along with Hunsenberger. NC State sends in some reinforcements, but here's Kerrigan working behind the net. Poked away by Herman. Back up top, Stewart shot through traffic. Not sure if that hit Bartels or if it hit the Georgia player in front. Either way, it ends up in the corner. Kerrigan trying to protect the puck against Herman. Holds it in the corner still. Centering pass. A shot that went wide as the puck hops the stick of the defenseman Norman and gets out of the zone. 4:50 to go. Still a pretty packed house here in Invisalign Arena. Bartels out to play a loose puck. NC State back the other way now. Herman floats it along for Prasma. Poked along. Prasma has some trouble. Gets it back to Herman though. Looking back to the blue line. The captain finds Lapani. Thrown down low for Reese Johnson. Below the goal line, Prasma out in front, doesn't get to Herman. Lapani one time at the blue line, deflected off of Hagen and wide. Prasma looking across for Payne, it's deflected. Reese finishes off the pass. Payne plays it down low. Johnson there, spins it out in front off the stick of Prasma, who gets taken down. Georgia will bring it back the other way. Nifty pass from Conway as he finds Punzenberger. Forcing his way to the middle, lost the puck. NC State can't clear. Loose at the blue line though. Johnson has it. He'll skate it out, gets it deep. NC State gets a change.
Didn't quite see who for NC State defended on that back check, but man, it was a great defensive play on Punzenberger.
Bailey plays it to the middle. Parente around Lapani. Evan Parente looking to the high slot. Bailey fans on the shot. Poked away by the NC State defense. That was Lapani. And now it's Mason Payne.
That's a name we haven't said a lot for Georgia. Bailey.
Pass up for Gifford. Here he comes. Shoots it off the blocker of Hagen. Trying to steer it out in front and can't. Caught up in skates. Finch gets to the loose puck. Back out in front, trying to force it to Gifford. That pass disrupted. NC State, though, with a good forecheck here. Finch tying up Hagen, who clears the zone. Only momentarily. Sodden will walk it back in. Throws it right into the glove of Hagen. Finch is in there to force a cover-up. And NC State with an offensive zone draw, just 3:14 left in this contest.
Going back to that shot from Jake Gifford, I mean, he tried to go on the stick side of that side on Hagen. It was an interesting angle, interesting shot choice from Gifford. Thought he had it for a second, but Hagen was all there. There wasn't really a lot of real estate for him to get that puck. Interested with that shot decision. NC State, the home team, going to go with that last-second offensive line change. Going to bring out that fourth line led by Langston, Gilmore, and then on the right wing, Raleigh.
Georgia advancing off the Z-zone draw. Some speed down the left side for Jake Green. Looking to the middle. Can't connect on the centering pass. NC State swats it into neutral ice. Bartels the clear in. Steers it to Sodden. Will go D to D, and it's shot up the far wall. Raleigh can't control. McAvoy drops it off for Ryan Miller. Stretch pass misses everybody. Icing the call. 2:47 to go. NC State takes it back to the offense there. This is worth noting as we're getting down to crunch time here. And have a standard overtime procedure should this game go past the third here.
Should it?
5 minutes of 3-on-3 hockey. If that doesn't decide it, then it will be a three-man shootout.
Still have 2:47 to play though. Plenty of hockey left in regulation.
NC State seems to be wearing down Georgia a bit too. See if they can take advantage of that. They've carried most of the play here in the third. Not necessarily something you can say about the first two periods. It's been a pretty even game for these two squads in their season opener. Shot from Hammonds deflects wide. Georgia to the rebound, they'll clear it down again, and Miller will ice the puck for a second time, and Georgia got to keep those tired legs out there. This is the opportunity for NC State. Got some fairly fresh legs out there.
There's some head shaking from Georgia. Zach Knoll upset that he has to go back on the bench. Didn't get the substitution in time. Ing as well was a little frustrated. If you're NC State, you have to take advantage right here against Georgia.
It'll be McAvoy on the face-off for Georgia. Ammons to take the draw for NC State. Georgia wins it. Played off the wall by Miller. Second effort gets it out from Watson. Bronson carries it right back in. Connie steps around to hit, finds Kaufman high slot, backhands it high. NC State with a good chance there. Just over 2 minutes to play now. They'll battle for it along the boards in that near corner. Kaufman in there with Ammons for NC State. Georgia wins that battle along the wall, though. Noel pushes it forward for Watson. He'll carry it into the zone and immediately loses it. Labrizzi reverses play. Advances it for Ammons and then goes with him. Centering pass from Ammons, nobody there. Georgia clears it back to neutral ice. And NC State shoots it deep. 1:40 to go in the period.
NC State quick line change. I was about to say, Chris, if you're both teams, you got to make sure you get that line change in and out as fast as possible.
Georgia trying to set up the breakout. Sherman Hagen behind the net. Plays into his defensive partner, Martin. Across for Hagen, bouncing puck off the wall. Hagen just swats it along. Krasma finds the loose puck for the Pack. Cross ice, Dahlin at his own blue line. He has space to step up with it. Dahlin into the middle. He'll get tangled up with a defenseman. Leaves it there for Johnson. Carries it into the corner. Handed off for Dahlin out in front. Oh, it was loose. NC State went after it, and now Johnson getting thrown to the ice. Georgia didn't like that extra hack. That's fair game when the puck's loose.
That was just a stupid play from Georgia right there. Declan Conway, I believe, was the one that just knocked the puck back to his goalie. I mean, it's loose.
He made the right move there, getting it to the goaltender, but there has to be some more urgency.
And we're going to have a penalty.
And we'll see. They're going to... I'm sorry, in my opinion, Johnson doesn't get a penalty here. He's going... Wow. He's going after a loose puck, and the only penalty goes to Johnson.
Oh, my goodness.
This doesn't make any sense.
Oh, my goodness.
Johnson's going after a loose puck, and they're going to call him for slashing. That just doesn't make sense. This is huge. NC State's got to kill a minute of 5-on-4 here to end the third. Then it would be a minute of 4-on-3 in overtime.
See Tim Healy.
But to call that penalty after everything that they've let go for both teams, you can't call that penalty in the last minute. And now NC State's got to try and kill off the power play. Conway on the draw. NC State wins, but the clearance is blocked. Kerrigan moves it up the near wall. Declan Conway, top of the circle, walking in. He'll shoot. Saved by Bartels. In the corner now, Parente. Worked back across, taken off the wall. Bailey with the one-timer. That deflects wide. 45 seconds left in the period, and NC State clears the zone.
If you're Georgia, you take that penalty and you go with it. You got 30 seconds left, and you're going to start overtime with the power play if nobody scores. This is your last push.
Georgia with speed. Bailey circles the net. Works back to the top of the near circle. Still with it. Orbiting the zone. Looking things over. Drops it behind Parente. 17 seconds. Into the middle. Loose puck. Labrizzi shoots at the length of the ice.
Didn't seem like Georgia knew what they were doing there. They brought it around with Bailey, and then it just kind of ended there.
One last push. Big hit there by Labrizzi to knock his man off the puck. NC State will clear it once more. And we've got overtime in the season opener as NC State and Georgia are tied at 1 after 60 minutes.
Interesting there from Georgia. I think, that last push from Bailey and then trying to pass it in the middle where there's a lot of traffic. NC State with the easy clear, and it looked like Georgia was, once that got cleared, they were playing for overtime. It looked like a good bit of it they were playing for overtime. But Chris, there's a power play in overtime, so for the first time this season, I'll let you explain the overtime rules.
Well, I will say, just to build off that point, one thing worth noting, it's the first power play for Georgia this season.
That too.
So you do wonder if there's just a little bit of chemistry lacking as they kind of get used to a game speed power play for the first time, but they've still got a minute. They're going to have more space at 4-on-3. As we mentioned, in the last couple of minutes of the period, it'll be 5 minutes of 3-on-3 sudden death overtime. If the game's not decided in those 5 minutes, we'll head to a shootout. Each team will have 3 players after that. It'll be sudden death round by round. Now, you can take a penalty in the last 2 minutes of overtime. You're in the penalty box at the end of overtime. You are not eligible for the shootout. Right now, NC State has Reese Johnson in the box. He, of course, will come out either on a power play goal for Georgia or when his time expires a minute into the overtime. But it'll be 4-on-3. NC State going to go with Bronson and Labrizzi, that top defensive pairing. We'll see which forward they send out. If I had to guess, Herman would be my guess as the captain and as a strong two-way center. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Holden Kaufman, who it appears it is going to be, as he comes out onto the ice. They're going to have to defend against Evan Parente and Ryan Bailey. And the defenseman for Georgia going to be Bill Martin. And Evan, or actually a four. They're going to go with 3 forwards and 1 defenseman here for the Ice Dogs.
Key, long change, and this is massive. NC State lost a game to UNC in overtime last year because of the long change. They got confused. They went for the change. UNC stole the puck, had an easy 2-on-1 situation, won the game. Overtime here, Georgia, like you said, Chris, first power play of the game. If you're looking for heroes, I think Spencer Watson might be the hero for Georgia. For NC State, Zach Herman's 100th game, Chris. But 5 minutes to go. We haven't seen any goals in the last 39.5 minutes. Will the next 5 give us that next and final one?
Georgia wins the opening draw of overtime. We got 55 seconds left on the power play as the clock ticks down on the man advantage. Here's Moore. Hands it off as he enters the zone for Bailey. Back to Moore. Cross for Martin. Again, it's Bailey. Slow-moving power play here for Georgia. Back up top for Moore. Looks it over. Bailey again. They'll continue to play catch. They're making it easy on NC State right now. Keeping it to the perimeter. Bailey, circling, shot. Blocked there by Thronson. Loose on top of the circle. Picked up by Moore. 22 seconds left on the power play. Fought off there on the off-angle shot by Bartels. Back to it. It's Moore again. Down to Parente. 10 seconds on the power play. Moore again. Shoots. Deflects off of Bartels. Out in front in a sprawling play by Bartels. It wasn't a shot on goal, so it won't be a save, but he kept it from deflecting off himself and in. Georgia done with the man advantage, but still in the zone. Shot swallowed up by Bartels. The new netminder coming up big for NC State.
Oh my goodness, what a save from Bartels. I don't know if someone kicked it, if he kicked it, but there's a lot of traffic in front. Here's the rebound. Just kind of didn't look at it, just kind of knocked it with his glove.
Took a page out of Andre Vasilevsky's
Exactly. If you don't see that on the SportsCenter Top 10 tonight, then I don't know what we're doing. I mean, that was one heck of a save. Welcome to the Ice Pack, Bartels.
3-on-3 now with 3:51 to go in overtime. Stoppage, they can take the extra skaters off the ice for each team. Here's Darlene as NC State wins the T-zone drop. Prasma advances it along for Herman. He's got Darlene moving forward into 2-on-1. Herman, his pass denied. Back across, it's off the skate of Darlene, back behind the goal. Herman there to help out in the stick battle. Out in front, poked away from Hagen. Puck still loose. Prasma stepping in. Herman has it as he's stuck on all fours, and it will be called a hand pass as Prasma is the first to touch it. This will bring the face-off out into neutral ice.
Chaos. Couldn't hear the whistle. I was going to say, I think Herman got away with the hand pass. If he did, Prasma more than likely has a really great chance of the shot. A lot of bodies flying everywhere. Looked like Darlene lost his footing, and yeah, Prasma got that hand pass, but man, what a start to overtime, Chris. 1 minute and 37 seconds in.
Only change for NC State is Mason Payne in place of Darlene. NC State wins the draw and controls Herman. Circling into the slot, poked away nicely by Hagen, who tracks it down to the wall and gets tied up there. Moves forward, Declan Conway coming out for it. Bartels sliding out, the goaltender makes the play. It's caught up in his skates. Net is empty. Bartels getting back. NC State escapes. Here comes Herman. He's got Prasma with him the other way in a 2-on-1. Herman holding, shoots, he scores! Off the post and in. NC State wins in overtime.
Invisalign Arena is going crazy, Chris. What did we just see in that overtime period? We saw a Pyotr Kochetkov-esque coming out of the net from Ethan Roberts, and then I said it right before puck drop of overtime. It's his 100th game as a member of the Ice Pack. Did you really think the captain of the Ice Pack was going to go pointless in his 100th game? Top shelves it, and the Ice Pack start the season out 1-0 with a thriller.
A lot of credit has to be given to this Georgia Ice Dogs team as well. As we we mentioned making the jump to ACHA this year, Division II. They're a team that has the potential to move into the ACCHL Division I league in the future. And they put up a good audition, you could call it, here today. Got off the bus around 5 o'clock on the drive down up from Georgia. They're able to shake off the bus legs and take NC State just about to the limit. But it's the captain, Zach Herman, in overtime. As you mentioned, Nick, in his 100th game, he's the overtime hero.
Yeah, he is, and it's so fitting that he is. He really didn't have a loud night like he usually does, especially outside of that first period. One more look at it, though, it just kind of squirts free. He's got to believe that was plasma, and it is on the other end. Just 1-on-2, but right there, he takes a step back, and just, what a rocket shot from Herman. That's one of the fastest shots we've seen today. Got to give credit to Isaac Hagen. He played one heck of a game, saving 37 of 39. Not much you can do on that beauty of a snipe.
Just shy of a 950 save percentage for the Georgia netline. A great night. NC State is going to head over to the Frigid Sound for the alma mater, but an exciting 2-1 overtime victory for this NC State team. I'm sure there's some things they'd like to clean up for both teams, as it is their first game of the campaign here in the 2025-26 season. We're going to step aside for now. We'll have interviews with head coach Tim Healy, as well as the captain and the overtime hero in our post-game show. But the final count here for the NC State Ice Pack in their season opener. Overtime winners, 2-1 for the Georgia Ice Dogs.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
A person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Children exposed to poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children with good air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this, providing filtration technology to school children with poor air quality through the Clean Air for Kids program, helping kids to breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, removing barriers to learning, reducing sick days, and increasing test scores. This is all key to environmental and climate justice. Find out how you can help at iqairfoundation.org.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
Well, if you're an NC State fan, you couldn't have asked for a better finish to the season opener. Let's take another look. Zach Herman, in his 100th game, comes away with the overtime winner for NC State. You get a look there at the celebration at center ice. Chris Lehman back alongside Nick Perazzi, and you couldn't have written it any better.
You couldn't, Chris, and we said it off air. It was just chaos. I mean, that's what it was. The controversial slashing penalty on, I believe it was Reese Johnson, if I remember correctly, with a minute to go. Georgia's power play looked a little bit elementary as well. But in overtime, though, NC State killed it off, and then the ability for the save to be made. We're going to get one more look at it. It's just an odd man rush for the Ice Dogs. Really great defensive play.
Well, you get another look at what Herman was doing in overtime. There's a reason he is the captain of this team. He creates, and here's the chance. Bartels, great job. First game for NC State, and he's got to make a split-second decision. It's a little risky. It almost backfires, but it ends up paying off, and from here on out, it's Zach Herman taking it away.
You got to give credit to Prasma, too, for that defensive play, but what a snipe from Herman. He even had Prasma on the other end. Heck of a hustle play from Prasma, but Herman said, I can take it all the way. The celly shows exactly what he did. He sniped it home and won the game.
Well, you had just about a sold-out crowd here at Invisalign, a lot of whom potentially chose coming out here to this game over going just across the street, potentially, if you're a student at NC State, to watch a highly ranked men's soccer team take on North Carolina, and this hockey team delivers with a fantastic, fantastic win.
And it's a 15-minute drive from campus to get here. There's a noon football game tomorrow as well, and the crowd did not disappoint, and the team didn't disappoint either. I'm sure everyone that stayed through overtime, a lot of fans left before the end of overtime, Chris. I don't know if you noticed, I'm a little disappointed, but boy, did they miss out.
Well, it was a heck of a finish, and the hero of the game going to join us after this break. Zach Herman joining our own Nick Perazzi on the other side.
Back here in Invisalign Arena with the man of the hour, Zach Herman. Zach, what are the emotions right now after that?
Yeah, it's it's cloud nine. First game in Division I, and that was a tough one. That's a really good hockey team, and just glad that we were able to pull out a win.
Kind of walk us through that game-winning sequence, the save that was made on the power play for Georgia, the Pyotr Kochetkov-esque save that led to your goal. Walk us through everything and how you guys as a team were able to get to that point to win the game.
Yeah, that was one of the best saves I've ever seen with my own two eyes. So, all credit goes to Peter there. We had a 2-on-1 early on in the shift, and looked to make the play across, and they got that one. So, mindset coming down the second time was to shoot it, and just was able to find my spot.
Well, before we dropped the puck in overtime, I said this is your 100th game. You have to be due. You were due, but you wear the C on your chest for the second season in a row now. Last year, a lot of these games did not fall your way. I talked to Eric Mura about it right before the third period. He said the culture has changed a bit. How have you done that, and why is tonight an example of why that is?
Yeah, it means a lot to me to be, one of, we got a lot of great leaders on this team. So to be one of them, it really means a lot. You can really just feel it in the room. There's a consensus buy-in. Everybody's ready to go. We've been skating here since May, right? So, guys are ready to go. We got a lot of great players this year. You're going to see that throughout the year, a lot of talent. And the guys are just, ready to get going. It's a long season. It's going to be a grind. But, we've got a group of guys in that locker room that embrace that, and this is what they want to be doing.
Yeah, in front of pretty much a sold-out crowd as well. The culture you guys have built has continued to grow and grow as well. But how are you going to celebrate tonight, Zach?
Not too late. We got a home football game tomorrow. So, get all the guys together, have a good time, celebrate this. Feels good. We got 2 really tough games next weekend, so I can't celebrate for too long, but just excited to get going this season with this group of guys. It's going to be a lot of fun, really looking forward to it. And, obviously thank you to everybody that came out tonight. I think this is one of, if not the best atmospheres in the country when it comes to this. Really got to see it.
We also have a 100 game puck
there
for
we
there.
Go, there we go.
So
thank you. Yeah, it's good. Just, glad to everybody support tonight. I know it's a Friday night soccer game going on, football game tomorrow, but I think it's really just a testament to our team and our program and the support that we get and the community we've built here.
A lot to be proud about for not only yourself, but this team as a whole. I'll let you go celebrate. Hearing a lot of it's going to be tomorrow morning in some tailgating lots, but Captain mentality, on to the next Liberty next week.
All right.
When we come back, Chris is going to wrap things up with head coach of the NC State Ice Pack, Tim Healy.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better. Oh, don't forget about hot ovens. Or hot peppers. Hot springs, hot chocolate. Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons. Hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese.
Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joe on the phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on.
We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true. What? It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's phishing.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world.
Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. These programs cover doctor's appointments, hospital visits, prescriptions, shots, and more. As parents, we get peace of mind knowing that our children are covered if they are sick or get injured. You may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if you've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Chris Lehman now joined by head coach Tim Healy of the NC State Ice Pack after a thrilling 2-1 overtime victory to start off your 2025-26 season. What are the emotions after a game like that?
Well, I mean, I haven't really come down from it yet. I mean, there are overtime wins, but that was just crazy. I mean, you go with, I think it was a behind-the-back glove save a la Dominic Hasek. I was going, maybe I'm dating myself with that one with Hasek. Oh, it's right here, I think, coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just absolute insanity. Yeah, I mean, that's, wow, what an angle. So I'm just seeing that angle for the first time to the viewers at home. I mean, that is just, that's incredible. And then he comes back with the game-winning assist there. And, you know, to talk about Peter for a second is he actually hasn't played a meaningful hockey game in 2 years. He played for the Charlotte Russian Juniors, and, you know, so he's back up. He was going to Monroe Community College up out Rochester. And he was a little bit like Addison Lawrence in that he thought he was done with hockey, and then he got the itch. He had aged out of juniors, but he actually became the practice goalie for the Rochester Junior Americans because they only had two, so he was out with them every day. Alyssa Gallardi, who many of you hockey fans from Raleigh area will know, she played at Cornell, spent some time with the U.S. National Women's Team, and is now an assistant coach for that NAL team. She helped steer him here, and then, you know, Jake Lapone from Rochester too. So got to give an assist to Alyssa Gallardi on that one too. But yeah, it was exciting. And then watching the assist there, I'm speaking of a million miles an hour. It was a lot of fun. But, you know, a couple things. I thought that we actually played a great third period. I thought we really came into it. I thought all three goalies were fantastic. We're talking about Peter right now, but all three goalies were great. We got to tighten up. We gave a lot of grade A chances, and our goalies were there to answer it. Oh, yeah. And Georgia, he was good too. He was tough to crack in net too.
Oh yeah, Georgia did a fantastic job. We'll get another look at it. The thing to me here that's the most impressive is the split-second decision that is the right decision in this case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to win or lose that game right there because obviously if it goes wrong, it's going to net. But if you look back, we had up the ice and we had speed. And I think that's probably what he saw, right? He probably saw that opportunity to get a quick break, and that's what he got out of it. And Herman buried too. I mean, that was a nice bury, little posted in. Also need to talk about the crowd tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so, you know, you got to think about things. We probably had we had a packed house down on campus for soccer tonight. We had a packed house here. Frigid Sound was great tonight. Our crowd was great tonight. So it just speaks to the NC State community, right? Like you sold out 2 venues tonight. That's pretty impressive and a great way to start the season.
Without a doubt. And now as you move forward, look ahead to next week. We talked about it pregame. You expect Liberty to be a step up. This was a solid Georgia team that came off the bench, or came off the bus rather this afternoon and put together a pretty good effort. But you got a really tough team in the Division I Liberty Flames coming up next week.
Well, and it's, think about it, right? And now that's for viewers at home. So we're in the ACCHL, so that's in Division I, so that would be like the ACC or whatever. But that's a big out-of-conference matchup. So it would be, you know, basically going up. Well, it's a home and home, but it would be like going up to Ohio State. You know, they're a perennial top 5 team. We've played them in the past, but we've never played them as a league game in ACHA men's Division I. So quite frankly, no question about it. They're going to be the best team that's ever come in this barn Friday night. And they're going to pack it Saturday night at their barn, so we better pack it here on Friday night. We're going to need, with Pack Faithful, you're great tonight. We're going to need you even more next week.
Well, it should be an exciting one. We'll have the first game here at Invisalign Arena on ESPN+. But that's going to wrap things up for us here tonight. A thrilling way to finish as the captain, Zach Herman, in his 100th game
100th, yeah.
gets the overtime winner. And NC State heads home at the final count in overtime. NC State 2, Georgia 1.
Go Pack.